Why Rambo?
I've had this name since I was in high school at Tangaro College. I'm like one of like 3 or 4 Samsons in my family. They like to copy and paste.
That Rambo side is activated daily. People are not waiting.
Say that you're Rambo and then you're not looking like him.
A veces no.
My grandfather telling me about Clint Eastwood and John Wayne. He came to New Zealand, right? And he's an old man. He was like 60 something. He was like the Customado and I was like young Mike Tyson. And he looks at me and he just goes, what is it? And then I'll be like, nah, nothing. But it was just like a hard night. And when you have those nights with yourself, might not be in boxing, but just like a hard day at work. Well, he said to me, it's stuck, it's ingrained in my memory. And he just said, I wasn't able to read when I was younger. Once I got into the habit of knowing how to read, for me to attain the information, I was able to turn that, people would look at it as a disability, into a superpower. The thing I know about dyslexia is we have the ability to, the problem with the most talented people, they're on the sidelines because they're too standing.
Hi everyone, if you are enjoying the content and the guests that are on the podcast and you're wanting more, then please do us a favor. If you can just press the subscribe button, that would be an amazing help for us. But also, just want to mention an amazing organization called AOK, who sponsors the Mandate podcast. And so they are an organization that runs suicide prevention, intervention, and wellbeing programs. And so AOK stands for Acts of Kindness. And so you didn't need me to tell you about the alarmingly high rates of suicide in our nation, especially amongst our rangatahi, our young people, even our tane, our men. And so if you're wanting to stand in the gap and you want to be well-trained and well-equipped to have these courageous life-supporting conversations, then please check them out, aok.nz. If you're a business, a company, or a collective, or even as an individual, check them out, www.aok.nz. You could very well be that one person to help save a life. Welcome to Monday, where we navigate fresh perspectives and nothing is off the table. Tonight's guest is from Tāmiki Makaurau, Okilari, South Okilari. He's from a place called the Promised Land, 274, also called Tin City, but better known to all of us as the home of the brave, Otara. He's an amazing talent, an amazing individual who happens to be one of New Zealand's finest directors. And so film directors, you know him on his work, and also he's cut his teeth on several projects like Take Home Pay, also My Friend Michael Jones. You've also seen him on the work in terms of his work in terms of Frickin' Dangerous Bro on the road, and also Lea Tupuanga as well. The man's also done video clips, music video in terms of General Fire, It's You, and also just recently the lecture from the movement. But the man is more than just a creative genius. He has an amazing story to share. Please put your hands together for the man himself, Samson Rambo!
Thank you, Uso.
Oh, Uso.
Holy
thank you for coming out, Uso, man. That's been a long time coming.
Can I shake your hand? This is like so surreal.
Oh,
thank you for having me.
No, thank you for coming out tonight. It is a privilege. It's absolute privilege for us to have you on, Uso. But I thought just to start the ball rolling, because Rambo, people think Rambo. Now, back in my days, I'm thinking, hey, Rambo, what's the deal in terms of Rambo? Has it got to do? I'm assuming it's got to do with John Rambo, First Blood. Yes, and so why the persona, and why did you choose Rambo? Because obviously Rambo's not your last name. What's the last name?
Valtua, yeah. That's
cool. So, but also tell us why Rambo?
Rambo. Oh man, how do I even? So the origin of the name came from. So I've had this name since I was in high school at Tangaro College. And I was about like 16, and I was playing footy at the time. And so the backstory is I'm like one of like 3 or 4 Samsons in my family. They like to copy and paste, you know. And and I want to, as you do, you want to stand out. And I've always been that guy in my family. And so the name came about. I'm a light-skinned type of Samoan. I started fusiing, tying the red headband when I would go to rugby trainings, and then I just kind of adopted the mannerisms of bringing this character to life. And then I remember I went to this camp where Rambo stuck with me like forever. When I went to Dream Whono. And I was on standby because I was meant to go to this camp, right? And I was on a waiting list, and then something happened. This girl that was meant to go there, she got caught wagging. I don't remember her name. And my teacher, Mr. Tua, our dean, Mr. Tua at Tangaro College, was like, "Yo, you want to go to this camp or what?" And I was like, how much time do I got? He's like, "You got until like this afternoon." And everyone's names were already written, and it had all the high schools. It had, Kelston Boys, La Salle, and all the South Side schools. And Efeso Collins, the legend, I think he created that. And it was when I quickly, put my bags together. I went home. I told my mom, I'm going camp, and she was like, "Philip, where's this camp?" And I was like, Rotorua. She was like, "Oh, okay." I put all my bags and my clothes together, went down, and then I remember I looked and I saw that red headband. And I was like, "Oh shucks!" And I grabbed it, put it in my bag. And when I got there, I just like changed my whole identity. I was like, "Fuck, I'm Rambo." Yeah. And then when they were giving out tags, they're like, Crystal, blah blah blah, giving out. And then the girl I replaced, they gave me her. They were like, "Who's this girl?" They were like, "Oh, she's not coming anymore." I was like, "That's my tag." And I got the tag. I just turned it sideways, and then I just wrote Samson Rambo. Stuck. And everyone just called me Rambo from like every school. They're like, "Rambo, what's up?" And I was like, "Yo, what's up?"
Oh, wow.
And that's kind of, I don't know. Then I went to other camps in my school. I just went with it. I played the character. And and it became my alter ego.
Yeah. Sounds
when
like
I would
it.
get into, I played as a flanker. I was like one of the smallest flankers, but I would say, when I had a lot of heart. Yeah, I would never say die. I'd shoot off like a torpedo from the scrum. And my one thing I was always good at is charging down kicks. I remember, I probably got like 2, but in my head, there was 2 million. Yeah, I'd charge it down, and when I charge it down, I would spring up like a gazelle. I would just fall it down, roll, get up, and I looked, and it was like.
And with that look,
John Rambo.
Yeah, and I'm like, see, that's Samson Rambo right there. The reflexes of that guy. That was me. So, sorry, we're already like straight into it.
Bro,
I hope that makes sense.
No, this
oh
cool,
my
man.
gosh,
So you adopted the whole character, the mannerisms of.
Yeah, well,
Rambo.
it was an assembly of all of my things that I was interested in as a kid. But we can go more into it later. As you ask the right questions, I'll give you the right answers.
I love that.
That's cool.
I love you guys. Yeah.
So you say collection. Give us an insight, because there's that we're raised as Samoan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're raised in this country, and we go to school, and we're told all the time how to look, how to walk, how to blah 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 blah, and then you just decide, nah, I'm not going to do that.
No.
So what's the difference between Samson that grew up, and then when you switch into Rambo, what's the difference?
Good question. The difference for me is Samson Jones Valtu'ua is who I am at home.
And who is he?
Actually, I love my family. I try and speak life into them because, as we do, I don't come from a rich family. I remember talking to my uncle today, and I remember I have this photo in the family album where, I'm born and raised in Otara, and I remember I was like one of 3 kids that was brought up in a household, and in one house, 3-bedroom, standard, and it was overcrowded, but there was so much love in there. I loved it. Like, I remember looking at that photo, like recently, and I saved it on my phone. But all of those people, they've gone, they've moved out. Some of them, a lot of them have passed on. But I still remember those moments as a kid when we would watch. We would crowd around the one TV. It's ngefu as heck. It's static. But we would be patiently waiting, and I would be the closest to the TV, and they'd be like, so my kua, move back. But I was glued because I was like, this is my family. This is my whole life experience. And my one job, sometimes I think my grandfather, when we didn't have the remote, my job was to like press the TV. Yeah. So if you ever see me directing like that, it's because I've got used to pressing
the buttons.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, well. Yeah, and so that's the difference. So Samson Jonesville always is the family man. He loves hard. And then Samson Rambo is the guy that he's almost like he's a Batman. You know, he's the Black Mamba of, like, you know, Kobe has, there's Kobe, and then there's the Black Mamba that just comes out, like, just activate that.
And what activates it? Because I think that's always interesting as well, because I can see just from your talanoa, you're at home, you've got all this love, support all around you, big ainga, then something happens. There's a certain condition that presents itself then makes you go, I now need to be Rambo. Like, what's the conditions that puts you in that place?
Good question. I just think about all the struggles. Like, I take myself there all the time. You'll probably see it at Fitness Cartel at 5:30 a.m. every morning. The people that are there, we go there, and it's my own mental crutch just to keep myself mentally sane for longevity. You know, you're supposed to get better over time, not just one time. And I've been playing this character. It's not a character, but it's the other side of me that's really dark. In a good way.
Yeah.
Sorry. Let's,
No, but you know what? You're talking to stuff that we don't talk about enough. Like, I think it's good to highlight that we all have a dark side.
Yeah.
And that dark side needs to come out now and then, and in a controllable way, which is why I'm hearing you've given the dark side permission, and however way people want to call it, it's dark side, whether it's your ego, whatever it is. It's the side that we have been told to pull back, like control, like, I don't know, little, like, that shouldn't come out because it's not socially acceptable. But man, I love when you put on that bandana, you get up at 5:30.
Oh, sorry. I don't have to say that, but yeah.
But the 5:30 thing, what you're also telling us is you train that Rambo side. That Rambo side is activated daily. People are not waiting.
You can't say that you're Rambo and then you're not looking like him. That's
got
just...
wait.
Nah. Yeah.
That's a yes. Okay.
A ver si no.
That is Rambo.
You were kidding him.
Rambo, hard out, man. Oh my gosh.
Nah, here's the thing.
We just went viral, guys.
Bro,
when we put in the work,
like,
the thing is, I said I was going to come on here when I knew I was somewhat ready, and I've been ready.
Yeah.
Most of us have been ready, but we've just been hiding in the shadows, just like, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait, nothing. You just wait, and then everyone just kind of overtakes you. But you got the spark. You've been waiting. I don't know what else you need. Everyone's been saying, like, oh, now you should wait. Don't go on anyone's time. Stuff that.
Yeah.
That's good.
But that's the Otara in me.
Yeah.
That's, in my mind, how I created, like, I would adjust my way of thinking of Rambo. Like, Rambo is related to Black Mamba mentally. He's a great grandson of the Achilles the Great. Like, I would make things up just to take myself there. Like, this guy knows. I said to my mom during lockdown, I said, and this was during COVID, and I said, I'm gonna go for a marathon run. But my mom knows me. She knows me as her son, and she said, Ishua. I'm like, yeah. I calculate how far it is from my mum's house in Papakura. I'll just run. I'll run there, touch from Papakura all the way to Burger King. That's half a marathon. I never ran one before. I ran all the way just to test if, like, my mind can go there.
And did you stop at all?
No, I didn't. I just went there, and I was like, oh yeah, so I can go there. So if you can go there mentally, then why are you gonna, what else is holding you back?
Yeah.
No, like I'm thinking, like, so the point of my story is when you can mentally go there in something like that's really difficult. So for example, I used running, and I told no one. I just put it on my close friends. I'm like, I just ran this, and Beulah messaged me and said, excuse my language, fuck yeah. And I'm like, I know how this guy has his own dark side.
Yeah.
Sometimes we would talk for like hours about the dark side, just plotting, just like, yeah, let's do that. Just hype each other up. Because we love it. Because we know, like, if we can hold this and do it right, we can use it in the right way.
I don't.
Yeah.
But you know what it sounds like to me? You don't, because my question was, what are the conditions that sets off Rambo? What I'm hearing is you don't have conditions because you decide when Rambo comes in and out. Because when we've asked other people, like, when does your alter ego come out? Some of the answers are like, when there's a crowd, when the pressure's on. But you didn't say any of that. You said, I run every morning, I'm in it. And it sounds like to me you have total control of when you decide it comes out and when you decide it doesn't come out. And that's next level. That's next level.
But I try and rein it in when I know I need to. My family knows I have, and my partner, she knows. Hey, getting big head there. I'm like, yeah, nah, you're right. You're right. I pull it back. I leave my ego at the door like I leave my shoes at a marae or something. You know, I know I can just leave it there. But every now and then I'm going to have to put those shoes back on and go for, prepare, because things are always changing and I always need to be ready. There's a book I told this guy, my brother, read Who Moved My Cheese. The premise of that book, do you know the book?
Yeah. Yes.
Always having, your shoes ready when you need to scout out your next cheese. Such a great book.
That's awesome.
Have you read that?
The concept's great.
Awesome. I tell you what, I don't know, just listening to you, there's something special about guys like yourself, Beulah, and other guys to mention, but also just the mindset. The mindset, it seems like is when you guys kind of congregate together, there's something special that happens. And it's kind of like iron sharpen iron. It seems like you guys kind of just motivate each other.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts in terms of some of the other brothers, or what you see with our other brothers who maybe on the cusp of doing something, but still kind of their mindset's still like hasn't changed? What are your thoughts on those kind of thoughts?
What are my thoughts? Well, my thoughts are I have a lot of empathy towards them. It's really hard. It's really hard to face yourself. It's really hard to go to war with yourself every day because you're stuck with yourself. You come into this world by yourself, and then when you're stuck by yourself because you want validation from everyone to tell you how to be great, like and when you, I don't know, for myself, I've been able to just I use movies as reference points in my life. I think for me, the beauty in films for me as I've grown up is I remember growing up being so close to the television, going to United Video Store. Now we're talking, mate.
Yeah, man.
And I remember I would buy certain movies and I would remember what I learned from that movie. So, for example, Cool Runnings, that scene where Junior's getting a talk from that Jamaican guy that looks like Tupac. Can we all agree he looks like Tupac?
Yeah, he does look like Tupac.
But
he's the bad guy.
Yeah. But I remember where I was when I was watching it because I was always watching those movies with my grandfather. And he would be curating, like he would be talking to me in Samoan, doing Q&As about believing in yourself and just little things. He's old school.
What did he say exactly?
He'd be just like, like he'd just be like, watch, look at this guy in the movie. And the scene we'll be watching, for example, one of them was like Cool Runnings, right? That scene where he's Junior's getting a talk in front of the mirror. And every now and then we need a talk in front of the mirror. I remember that scene and I went and I practiced it in front of the mirror. Boom, boom, boom. Zangi, you take it too long in the shop. I'm doing my own talk in a Jamaican accent, talking to the mirror. He goes, you know what I see? I see pride. I see power. I see a badass mother who don't take no dirt off of nobody. Once again, it's, you know.
Mean.
Sorry, I hope that answers the question.
Bro,
but like, there's like a highway in my mind when I go back to my memories. I have a library of things that I pull to push me in that direction. But in terms of like people, how they can get there, I believe that it all comes down to the way that they perceive reality for themselves. Because everyone sees it differently.
Yeah.
And if they can take the time, I remember talking to one of the bros. I would advise him, just take your time. Just don't feel like you need a rush to come out and tell the world what you're gonna do and what you're gonna be. Nah, just go do the work. Go do the work. Come back. Run as far as you can. Run to Stewart Island. Touch it. Come back. Come tell me. I'll be like, great. I love it. Now go do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or something.
Can I go recover your legs?
Yeah.
Ask Bob.
Just go get a 4 down the road at Otahu.
But that's the reward, eh? The reward's the pain.
Yeah.
The reward is the pain of that run.
I think the moment you can find pleasure in pain, that's when you're like, this shit is easy. No, like it sounds a little bit insane, but it's actually true.
And I can hear that. That's how your mindset is. That's how you view it. Your perception of all the stuff that you're sharing, and we're only like 10 minutes in.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry guys, I was trying my best not to do this. Be that guy. I don't want to be like, this guy goes for runs and shit. Like,
why not?
I don't want to be up my own ass. Because
why not?
New Zealand has a funny way of looking at people when they want to do something great.
That's why you.
That's
why you crack the status quo, and you're
break the
doing
mold,
that.
man.
You gotta. I think we need to hear more stories like this of our Pasifika people, because we've had.
But are they ready for these types of stories? Is the question.
Well, you said
Well,
that
like you said,
waiting.
like you said, if they're
We
ready,
wait.
yeah.
What the F are we waiting for? Why do we wait?
You got good
You know-
listeners. That's why it's a mandate.
Yeah.
Why do people wait? And this is the thing that I can hear your passion. You're making the hairs on my arms stand up, because you're absolutely right. We sit there and we wait, and I don't know where that comes from. But what you're saying is, guys, stop it. Stop waiting. I've done this. I made a decision. I do this. I look in the mirror. I have a Jamaican accent. Like, you do all this stuff that people, I think, they need a bridge. You know, they need a stepping stone. They need something to come out of the waiting zone and do something, you know.
But and I think you also as well, Samson. I think a lot of people need to hear this, hear what you had to share, and also a lot of people are craving for some sort of, you heard about tall poppy syndrome. People, this guy's poko, this guy's arrogant. But I think a lot of our men, even our wahine, they're like, oh, I need to hear this, because I think a lot of people will take a lot from what what you're sharing. And so also, by all means, man, there's no red tape here. You just go for gold.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a worthy cause in terms of what you're sharing.
Yeah.
That's why we have like these characters like Batman and Superman, because people secretively are that person, but
They
society
know they're like that.
Yeah, but society, and I'm sad to say, but society, culture, religion shuts that all down.
Yeah.
Like, it completely shuts it down, and it molds us into things that conform us in this thing that you kind of wear it, but you're like, this is not me. Like, there's more to me than what my family and society and work and institutions put on me. And what you're saying is you felt something different, and your first step was to grab the bandana, create whether it was creating a persona or you were letting loose the true self that you have within you. But then you also know that you can't be that true self all the time either. Like, you need to rest it, give it a bit of a break, go into the ainga, Samson. Like, I get that, but you can't not let it out.
Yeah. Well, I think it just comes from your authentic self.
Yeah.
If the Rambo thing came from my love of movies, right? And so, just a bit of a backstory. Like I never knew who my father. I don't know who my father is. Never met him. It's like an infinite game of guess who. I haven't like unlocked that other side. Do I want to? Right now? Yeah, I could if I want to. I could reach out and add him on Facebook and whatever, and just find out, because I'm the curiosity of wanting to know just the genealogy of that side. Like I'm curious. I'm a storyteller. I'm open to a lot of things, and I think the moment you reach that level, you want to explore certain things about other sides of yourself, like being comfortable with being uncomfortable. That comes back to the work. And so, for myself, Rambo is just like this infrastructure that I built because of my upbringing, and I never had that role model around. I only had the most stoic grandfather ever. He's badass mora, who don't take no dirt off of nobody. That was him. He's old school, born in the 1930s, silent generation. He's silent. Everything was just his persona. He'll sit and just like shake his foot. There's old school Samoan where they don't say anything, but his calm demeanor, I was like, I want to be like him. And when everyone would be like going to church, I would vinga, like out in English, it's like I would like moan to my mom, and then I want to stay with grandpa, because we just ordered like a whole like 5 VHS tapes from United Video, right? Hashtag bring United Video back. And I would sit while everyone's going to mafukanga, everyone's going to church on Sunday. I would be having like a full-on conversation about my grandfather telling me about like Clint Eastwood, like, and John Wayne. He was educating me about, I think it was his version of because he came to New Zealand, right? And he's an old man. He was like 60 something. I was like only like 7 or 8. And I was getting like this, he was like the customado, and I was like young Mike Tyson, just getting educated of like, we were watching Predator one time, and Predator was scary. He could see your heat, whatever temperature. And I remember like I was so scared watching Predator, just butchering everyone. But my grandfather like was just like, I'll get bullet, don't worry. The main character of the movie would never die. And I remember I was just like, damn, shit. Grandpa, man. Oh, I never said that as a kid, because I was a kid. I was like, I just remember looking at my grandpa. Thank you, grandpa. Buckle away, grandpa. But you know what I mean? And it was like those memories that I had that I would collect, because, not to spoil the story, my grandfather eventually passed away, and I was so hurt. That was like my hero. And when he passed on, I remember I would go to Father's Day, because the part of the story is I was raised by my grandparents. I never saw my mom, because my mom was always working. She was always working. Every time I would just see my mom, because she was a Sunday school teacher, I only see her on like Sundays, and it was like, man, your mom's cool. I'm like, I never see her. Cool. What do you mean? But I knew my mom was hustling. She was, long story short. But that drove me to be like, man, I want to take care of my family. I want to be Arnold. I want to be Rambo. Like all those things. And then now we're here.
Jeez.
That drive to want to become something. That was innate in my character of wanting to be my authentic self. And when I merged that to all the things that I love, Rambo created himself. I'm just the physical manifestation of Samson's just a body right now, and that I say hello to my family and boom, go into it. Sorry.
No, that is awesome. Also,
love that.
Yeah, rest in peace to your granddad. But obviously you mentioned your dad wasn't in the picture. You don't know who your dad is. How much of that affected you as a boy, but more so even now as a young man? If you don't mind.
I'm okay with it now. I feel like it's a cheat code to have like bad, like come from struggle, and No, I have like this to-do list in my head, like, oh yeah, I don't have this, I don't have that. Yeah, nah, cool. That's just how I view it. Like going back again, the way I bend reality to how I can use it for fuel. Yeah, you become like some type of mental hybrid. Yeah, you know, like it's like looking at a car that can do both, like gas and electric. And for me, where I'm at in my life, it was difficult when I was younger, so hard. I remember having conversations with a few of my friends that have fathers, and when I was younger, I was envious because they got to do all that, celebrate Father's Day, and I would always like write Father's Day to my mum. You know, only people that never had fathers would really experience that. They'd be like, oh yeah, but like my dad, I'm like, you should win because you have a dad. Like I don't have that. Not to say that, not to compare, but why are you resting then? Your mum and dad are still working. Go harder. Like you have it, it's there. But when you don't have any of those things and you're broke and you're dyslexic and you're all these things and you're like, fuck that. I'm gonna make something of this. And you push. You know, I don't know. You're getting me like thinked up, but you know what I mean? It's just life.
And you've certainly made something out of it. God, I love that.
I try because time is like fleeting.
Yeah.
One thing I would say that my grandfather said, he said, your most celebrated day is the day you're not even here. Why celebrate yourself as much as you can? He said that when I was young.
How did he say it in Psalm 1? What's the phrase for that? Or did he say it in English?
I think he said it. Well, he said in Psalm 1, but I don't know how to. You know, when you're. Yeah. It's when you're really. It's kind of true. Like, but we chase all of these fleeting validations and I want to be celebrated. No, just celebrate yourself. Every now and then, I done a small one. Boom. Yeah. Pat yourself on the back. No one actually cares. You do something that was really hard for you. Nah. Turn the other short.
It's good, man. That's wise.
Yeah, and then, you know, because, yeah, that's just life. I don't know. I'm just going on a tangent.
No, you're not.
No.
No, you're not. You're actually appealing to, like, you know, we always think everybody has a dad because we had dads. But, you know, I know when you grow up in school, and I work in the, you know, suicide prevention space, so I'm, you know, with a lot of different kinds of people. The reality is that's not real. There's a lot of people who either don't have a mum or don't have a dad or have a mum and dad who are not present. You know, like this is a reality.
Yeah.
The thing is, you're bringing a perspective to people who don't have that dad that are sitting on Father's Day, and Father's Day's around the corner, right?
Yeah.
And I can imagine some of these young people just dread it because, you know, every year, and you see women who can't have children, for example, and they dread Mother's Day. Yeah. Like everyone has their thing that they dread. But what you're saying is, you know, life doesn't stop there. Like you've actually found a way to turn it around. You found a way to buffer yourself. And what you've done is you're like, yep, I didn't have this, but actually I don't need it. I don't actually need it because I can actually physically or mentally or emotionally pat myself on the back. I don't have to wait for approval from mum and dad or wherever. And I think that can be a bit of a crutch too. If you have too much support, that you become reliant on it. Yeah. Hey, you become dependent on it, and then you don't do anything because you need an audience or you need the well done, son. Some people need that, and what you're saying is, because you didn't have it, that works in your favor, actually. Yeah. And I think people need to hear that. I think people need to, you're not going off on a tangent. You're right on where people need, you're right in a place where people feel hopeless. They feel without. You're sort of saying, actually, that might be what gives you a little bit more superpower there. Yeah. Because you don't have to depend on it.
Yeah.
I think that's powerful, really powerful.
It's
Samson.
true, man. Yeah, definitely not on a tangent. Also, I think you're speaking to a lot of men who, and even women out there who are lacking that kind of father figure.
Yeah.
They're like, I need that, or even absent fathers, or their fathers might be inside.
Yeah.
And so you're speaking to a generation of young men or even boys, like, oh man.
Yeah.
So what do? They have either two options: either you know what, life sucks.
Yeah.
I just do whatever I want to do and just be rebellious, whatever. Versus someone like yourself, like, you know what, this is what's happened to me, and this may not be the best scenario in my life, but I'm just going to take it as it is, and I'm going to figure out for myself and do something with my life. Also, and you are even in the early days, it may be the early days, but man, just your mindset, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, bro, it shows a lot of passion, but more so shows a lot of tenacity. That hey, I don't give a stuff about what's happening or the negative stuff. I'm just going to keep pushing through. Yeah. And so with your granddad, and I need to ask, because you were watching movies and all that kind of stuff with your granddad, is that the reason why you've decided, you know what, I'm going to go into film and direct films? Because I have all these, I can see all these pictures and my creativity, and I'm going to decide I'm going to make my own films. I'm going to do my own vision, bring it to life.
Well, yeah, I think, the way I think about it, I've had these thoughts for a while. I'm like, I feel like I was always destined to come to this realm, to do this. As Samoans, we're exceptionally good storytellers. I'm not even joking.
That's true, man.
Okay, yeah, because we are like indigenous. Yeah, we are, but just as a Samoan, I would just sit when the TV wasn't on, I just want to listen to my grandfather talk. And I was saying to my uncle today, just to go on a quick side mission, come with me. I called my whole family and I called my mum, I called my cousin, and I called my uncle, because when my grandfather passed away, shout out to my uncle Angamangi, he took on duties to, like, my grandfather said, Waiama, look after the kamalea. Like, look after, because he doesn't have, he needs a role model, someone to see and emulate, to follow the right path. And, my uncle took on that duty. But I called him today, and he was like, I called all of them to see if I can get a blessing to talk. Because I'm going to be like, yo, what's up, guys? I'm going to be talking about our family. Are you guys okay about that? But that's just me. I always check with everyone first. But that comes from knowing the culture, the ways. It was ingrained in me from my grandfather. And my uncle said, if you're going to tell the story, tell it properly. Whaiama, add in a bit of humor. And I said, are you sure I can tell the story? He goes, yeah. I guess, are you going to tell them that you beat me up? Nah. But it's called discipline. He knows. But the thing about that is, it's all a joke now. Back then it wasn't.
Nah, man.
It wasn't. Hey, here's a bit of history. Let's go on another side.
Tell the story.
I know. No. Not even about the story, but we used to have Triangle TV. Do you remember Triangle TV?
Yes.
They would put. I was in primary school, and I remember when flicking through I'm the guy pressing the screen or whatever, the television, and we landed on television TV, and there was a Samoan channel, and they would post up kids getting fussied.
Oh no!
Sad, but that was my audio guy laughing. That's my job. I'm telling the story, but it's true.
What would
That's why. See, going back now, we'll go back to another side tangent. Is when it's true, it's so fucking funny. Because it's true. You're an idiot. It's true. Fatherless behavior. That's just true. A lot of stuff, when you really look at it for truth, that's where it's really funny, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do something about that. But yeah, sorry.
Yeah. What do you mean you're gonna do something about that? Like, when you hit the truth, it's like, okay, we've acknowledged it, and we can either just sit there and keep laughing at it, and when you say I'm gonna do something about it, does that mean now it's time to change the
Yeah.
pathway.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because a lot of people, I take this because I used to be that guy, is when I hear something that's so true, then I'll be like, oh, fuck you see? What you see? That's most guys that haven't been taught how to think and just figure out a way to navigate a space to just be like, you know what? You're right, bro. Nah, thanks, man. See, but the other way, yeah, you're right. And then you go and work on whatever you need to work on. Go heal. I don't know. Go to the hyperbolic time chamber. Come back. You know what I mean?
what's the hyperbolic time chamber? Lily.
Okay, do this.
Oh yeah, don't worry. If it's a
The
man,
hyperbolic time chamber.
yeah.
is a reference because of an anime of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Oh.
So there was an episode, I can't remember the episode, but Dragon Ball Z, there was these Super Saiyans. They were fighting Cell,
So
Yeah.
So,
and to prepare to fight Cell, they went into this kind of chamber that in reality might seem like a day, but inside that chamber, they're gone for like a year.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what
They're
it
training.
is.
Oh, right. And then you come back and you've done a whole year of work on
Yeah.
yourself, eh?
Yeah.
And you've only been away for a couple of days.
use that as a framework to be like, you know what? Go and do your hyperbolic time chamber.
Yeah.
that's cool.
Don't even
That's
come out
good, bro.
until you work on yourself. You come back to a family meeting and someone try and triggers you, and you're just, you remember that time when you did? And you're just like, yeah, I remember that time. That was a good time, eh? And they'll be like, they were trying to trigger you, but you're like, how's your mom and dad? How's your mom and dad? I'm like, yeah, my mom and dad's good. Yeah. How's your job? No, yeah, very good. Good to see you, so. Let's get this. Just nip it in the bud. This one guy, this boxer I met at the gym, side tangent again. I love side tangent because it always goes back to the real tangent, the main mission. I went and done a boxing side mission, and I took it serious for like 3 months. Getting beaten up every day, love it. It's great. I met this one guy. Shout out to Alex Taulaki. And I remember I was having like mental problems because the thing about a martial art or boxing or anything that's really difficult, you're faced with your own I don't know how to say that.
Inadequacies.
Inadequacy. There we go. It's a Psalm 1 side coming out. Thank you.
No.
And he just read my body language and he looked at me and he was like, was like sparring, shadow boxing. And he looks at me and he just goes, what is it? And then I'll be like, nah, nothing. I was just having I was like having a challenging day because I just had a sparring session. I wasn't as good as I thought I was. And I was already fighting, but it was just like a hard night. And when you have those nights with yourself, might not be in boxing, but just like a hard day at work or a hard piano lesson or hard like dance session or something. And what he said to me, it's ingrained in my memory. And he just said, nip it in the bud, G. He said it so cool that I remember looking at him and I was like, I'm gonna nip it in the bud so hard from now on. He's just like, and I remember when he was having a tough day, he was having a tough night, and I remember I just said to him, nip it in the bud, G. And he looked and he was like, fuck yeah. Did like a bro, like manly ass handshake. Boom. I swear the clouds opened outside. When we did that, I was like kicking my lima. I was like, thank you, bro. Sorry, my imagination is running wild.
But with it, nip it in the butt. Okay,
Nip
so
it in the bud. Just like
you,
negative thoughts.
yeah. So just hit it when you heard that. And the reason why I'm breaking this down, because people need to know what happens in your mind when you hear nip it in the butt and what is that process. Because you're right, we have these hard times and people get trapped. They get stuck in the rut and they just can't pull out. And then when you hear someone say nip it in the butt, some people might not get that. But what did it do? Like, what did that 4 words do for you?
Yeah. It taught me it gave me a mental framework to be able to assess myself on days where I'm not feeling my best. And it's like a mental battle. You know, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's shit. But it's on the shit days where you really need to nip it in the bud. You would have to talk. No, there's power in self-talk. Talk to yourself. Coach yourself. Oh, now, you're the only one that knows yourself. You're going to Google, how do you come up or go, like, overcome this? Nip it in the bud.
Is that what do you say to yourself?
Yeah, just like, yeah, I am competent. I can do this. I'm enough. Yeah, I'm all good. Like, just talk to yourself. Like, say it. I would advise you. My strategy, say it before you go to bed. Say it before you go to bed. First of all, do your prayer. If you're prayer or you're religious, yeah, say your prayer. If you're not, all good. Just go to bed and just like mentally think about, I'm all good. I'm okay. Everything's all good. I know my time is coming. Say that. Just you almost have to be a little bit delusional. But when you start to really believe it, you watch how your brain rewires in a way you never knew. Because then when you start like doing things magically, you're going to be like, right. You remember that scene? I remember talking to one of the ushos on the Kelefongi on the phone. I was talking to one of the bros, Vosky, I love you. My brother would talk and we would sharpen each other. And there are times where... we're not feeling our best. And when I talk to the boys, I would remind them of the nip it in the bud type of concept, but it was more so I use a film analogy to kind of explain it. Do you remember that time? Do you remember that scene in Hook?
Peter Pan.
Peter Pan. Yeah. That scene in Hook when Tinkerbell is looking at Peter and he's, Peter's makua. He's old. And he's like, "You're doing it, Peter. Happy thoughts." And Peter's like about to fly and he's like flying up and he's falling and then he holds it. Then he's holding it and he remembers how like special this like he is or whatever. Tole kama leles to the sky, man. That's how you gotta like think about yourself and on your darkest days.
Yeah, I hear you. And what I think you're not, but the thing with you.
It's Charlie podcast, this is. That's why I didn't want to come on here.
No, I'm enjoying this.
Bro, you're taking us on a totally like, it's a deep journey. We're not on the surface. I love that. I hate surface talk.
Look at this. Wow.
We're on the deep end.
No, it's nice.
The thing is,
maybe
Samson,
just one finger there, but it's nice. Marble.
But the thing is, Samson.
No,
but the thing is, you have to also share, because I can hear, again, I'm trying to give people things to from your life and your journey. Really want them to see that what the tool is. And the thing is, it's not just words. People got to also know that you believe in what you say. Like you're saying to yourself, I got this. My time's coming. Yeah, I don't even know if you put any F-bombs in there, but when you're saying this stuff, you're saying it with 100% passion. You're not just, I got this. You're not talking like that. You're actually saying it with 100% grunt and 100% belief in, I have got this. I am going to do it. I am going to wake up at 5:30 in the morning. I am going to, whatever language, nip it in the butt. You actually believe it. And I think words are just words. And I see people trying to do affirmations and stuff, and it's like, it's not just a quote or, what you do in White Sunday?
Go locals.
It's not a go loco. It's like you actually are. I didn't go to like a Samoan church. It's not like a go loco. It's like you believe in the stuff because you know what you want in life. You know who you are. So there's there's layers. And the thing is, there's layers to this. It's not just affirmations. It's, I'm having a shit day and I'm actually going to overcome it.
Yeah.
Because this is one of those moments that I need to just conquer, not just pet on the, I love that. I think it's cool.
And the analogies and the metaphors you're using also, man. Oh, bro, there's some good ones, man. The thing is, but like you said early on, it's true. There's a lot of truth in it, and sometimes as Hummels and Islanders, we just laugh at some of the things that happen in our lives, and even if it's traumatic, we just laugh at some of those things.
Yeah.
Even though we were hurting inside, we laugh at these things. But I love what you said. Sometimes we need to change, even more so as men. And even more so as Pacifico or Māori men, we need to change the mindset in terms of people look at us, these guys, just stir them up, and then they're gonna react and it's violent. Yeah, they're gonna do something stupid. But I love what you did. You just work on yourself. You need to work on yourself, do something, and also when they try to tempt you to do something that's wrong or kind of stir you up, that you're able to no, I'm changed. That's not me anymore. And I love it that just your mindset was all, and the story
crazy a little bit.
But the thing is, I think we need to be. There's a part of us as men that we need to be a little bit delusional. We need to be in that. We need to tap into the dark side, but also control that because we're men. People look at it nowadays. Be like, you're being a bit too aggressive. There's nothing wrong with being aggressive, but in a good frame of mind or a good state. But just the way you are in terms of. You're actually speaking James Usul. And I think a lot of our men need to listen to this and be like, be okay with, I can be that way. I can do that. I can act this way. I don't have to be humble and all that kind of stuff. I can actually go forth and act a certain way that this is who I really am. And so also, man, it's just, bro. But sorry to go on a tangent, but we'll bring it back to your film and directing and your creative space. So also tell us because people for those who don't know, who are not familiar with your work, tell us what got you into this. Obviously, the movies, but tell us more so of your creative space and also the directing and so forth.
I don't even know where to begin. But it took us this long to get to the film side. I don't even know. I don't even know if I want to talk about that.
You didn't have to. Turn up to
I think even just when you say you're delusional, I think that's a. No, you have moments where you're no.
Aren't we all?
We are.
So when you say you're crazy,
you got to be a little bit crazy to be in this industry.
Gosh,
you got to be a little bit.
I'm taking your delusional comment and transitioning it into the film industry because I think delusion is good for us because if we don't imagine being something other than what we've been told to become. In our society, in our family, all that other stuff. If we're not imagining another place, another version of ourselves, we're not going to float there.
Yeah.
And somehow you've gone from pressing buttons on a TV. It's funny when you share your story. I had my grandma.
Yeah.
We used to watch. You don't remember these programs, but Falcon Crest and Days of Our Lives.
I remember that. Yeah. Days of Our Lives. Yeah.
And she would be like, do the whole button thing and how much they love those programs. But you went from that to then now sitting in a place where you've taken all of that information, imagined yourself to be, part of imagine taking the learnings, applied that to who you are, and now you're sitting in a space where you're now pressing different buttons. How did you get there? How did you then go, I'm going to actually be the person who presents or creates those videos or those movies or those formats for people to watch?
I think there was quite a bit of luck that came. There's some,
Do you believe in luck?
Well, before I say what but I have to really think about this. I don't know how I got into film, but I always knew that I wanted to do this. Because now it's more accessible. It's easy. Yeah, YouTube and all that. Back then, I didn't even know this was even possible. I just knew I wanted to act. Well, you can tell by my mannerisms. I was always, the first way of getting into anything creative as a Samoan, Sunday school. That's where you would learn the arts. And we would learn kolokos and, memory verses and all that. But I got to really cut my teeth because I would say this, I wasn't the smartest. The delusion, the reason why that, whatever, is because I had really low self-esteem when it came to things I wasn't really good at. A lot of brown men would agree. And it's sad. And not just brown men, but just everyone, like people, when they're not good at something, they would, if they don't find ways to help themselves focus on the good areas that they're good at, they can find a way out. If you're a footy player, yeah, you don't have to worry about your English, right? A little bit of step here and there. Go Kalake, UK. You know what I mean? But as a creative, it's such a different route. I wasn't the best in school, honest. But I did have the drive, as you can tell, when it came to the arts. Bit of a backstory. I loved Michael Jackson growing up. So movies, Michael Jackson came together, movies and music videos. Now, but when I was 3 years old, I'm sharing a real deep memory. My auntie, I think if she was born a little bit, shout out to my auntie Mina, if she was born just within this time period, she would have been the first filmmaker in my family. My grandfather would have been a filmmaker, his ability to critique films. So many of our people back then, if they had the opportunities now to be in this time period, what excuse do you have to not try do what you need to do? Anyways, yeah, well, my auntie, she worked at she worked at the movies. Yeah.
Which one?
Sure. Village 8.
Village 8.
Oh my gosh.
Legendary, right?
Yeah.
And I used to always call the movies to know the times of the movies, and I would tell my auntie, I want to watch this movie and all that. I would tell her, and then she'll be like, yeah, well, like clean up the house, vacuum. Man, I would clean the crap out of the house as young as I was, just to get close to the thing I love the most. That was like our original YouTube as kids. Kids love YouTube, eh? But that was my movies. The movies was my thing. And I remember also she went to Manukau, like Sounds.
Yeah.
And
man.
she brought home Michael Jackson's History, like VHS tape. She brought it home and she played it. And I think that changed my life. So there was movies, right? That was already like, I'm hooked. But when she brought like Michael Jackson and played the music video, Greatest Hits. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I remember watching Thriller. I was like, I want to do that. She would go to work. I'm ratting myself out. She would go to work, and I would just go in her room, steal the tape, and I play it, and then I'll just dance on her dressing table like. Fuck. She came home early one day. She came home early, Keia, have a look. I'm right here. And she was like, but she was, I don't know what, you probably want to ask her, but I remember her talking to my mum about it. She said, but he's dancing up on the dressing table. But I never forgot that, because outside of all the other things, I went and lip sync. Like I would drill into the things that I was already good at. By that time I came to school, oh shit, man. I reverse engineered my way of learning to cater towards my style. Like, so that now that I'm a director, right, I have to learn all the things that I wasn't good at, so that eventually I'm like, we're gonna have to face reality. I done the work, and I'm still working on it. Like, I love it though, because I think the thing about when you really love something, you'll move heaven and earth to make sure that you can. What other choice do you have? You have to be the best that you can be.
Yeah.
You're not going to compete with anyone else. You can't, because everyone has their own style. But when you find something that works for you and bring your own authentic style to whatever craft you're in, that's when you really shine. That's the spotlight. That's the Michael Jackson that everyone's waiting to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool. That's so awesome.
So I'm assuming is it where you got the hat?
Yeah, that's my other influence. You know, the style. You know, all of those. I love Michael Jackson's jackets. I love Michael Jackson's. I remember. Oh, Beulah always brings this up. Beulah was the first guy that could sleep over my house because we were acting partners back in high school. I remember when we were at, shout out to David Riley, love that guy. Have you had him on?
Yeah. No, we have, but I know Mr. Riley, yeah.
Yeah, love Mr. Riley, he's the man. He was our drama teacher. Shout out to Tangaroa College because we went through all of our high school years, and it was only on our last year. It was like, why do we have drama now? And it's our last year. But Beulah was in the class that I was taking, and I remember when they said, "Oh, you got to pair up and do like an end of year, whatever." And I remember I just looked at Beulah. Beulah looked at me. We had the same energy. We're like, yeah, let's team up. And then everyone's like, "Oh man, these guys are cheaters, man." Because we were like, yeah, we're gonna smash this shit. And he came over to my house. I told my mum, because we weren't allowed other people to sleep over. I'm like, "Oh, come on, we're gonna practice our rehearse our play, our scene." And then she was like, "Oh yeah, okay." People slept over my house, and then I showed him like Michael Jackson. He was like, "Show me what you're interested in." And I was like, I played like the Michael Jackson live Dangerous tour, and he was just like, fuck. And we were just studying performance, just looking at the mannerisms, just subtle details. Like when you really like something, you will find just something so small, and you'll be like focusing. Look how his leg. Look how he stood there for like 5 minutes, putting his glasses. He just stood there. You stand there, then you start to understand like the presence and the aura of someone, of how they conduct themselves. Stage performance, And then we were like, we took that in, and Bob's your uncle, and that was a cool memory. Yeah. We'll save the rest for something else. But
That's so cool. Gosh, just what you guys do when you're in love with something, eh?
Yeah.
And how that brings a friendship together.
Yeah.
As well, because not many. It's very rare to be able to find people like that in your life.
Yeah.
We can sit down and look at the real detail of things and critique it. And so, how much of that have you taken on? The detail, the stage presence that you've.
I love details. I see it in everything.
Wow.
So, going back to the original question was, where's my film career at? I remember reading this book. I'm still at the first chapter. I can't remember what it was, but it talked about Orson Welles. He's legendary director, and I circled this one section, and he said to his students that before he would give his students a camera, he would advise them to learn how to look at life for 2 years or something like that. Everyone can shoot. Anyone can shoot. You can give a baby a camera and they'll be like just flopping their head around, shooting anything. That's a content piece. But like knowing how to shoot life and capturing it as it happens in a certain way. Yeah, there's strategies now because of social media. Everyone's like, this is how you do the hook. This is how you do that. But like, how do you remember a whole sequence in your head? And for me, I have a mental highway of how I can edit things on the fly in my head. When I go to create a music video, for example, right, as an example, for the lecture, I edited everything before in my head, on paper, and we filmed it, and I already knew how I was going to assemble it. I just needed the right performance where I needed it to be, and it just came together. I would do a paper edit. A paper edit is I would write out a diet and I had an Excel sheet, Google Excel sheet. I would write down the codes. This time I would envision like where's movement looking, where is Yavanna playing Junior, the character. I made up the characters because I was pulling from my own experience. We'll get into that later, but when you start to think in that way, there's this thing called it's a German expression, I believe it's called Fingertip. Fancy, eh?
Yeah, fancy as.
Thanks.
You got the accent.
Yeah, Fingertip. It's called fingertip feel. When you become so good at something, it's just like a fingertip feel. For example, Steph Curry, literally, he does. That's Fingertip feel.
Effortless, eh? Yeah.
Go try it. Go say it.
No.
Is that a finger?
Fingership share. Fingership share.
No. We'll try it.
Say it again.
Finger.
Finger?
Stipchen. Genfil.
Genfil. Genfil.
You just said a swear word in German?
Hey.
I made you say that. I got you. Nah, but yeah. So yeah. Okay, back to the thing. Fingertip feel. The fingertip feel of something that you when you become a master at it. That's when you're like, you're Michael Jackson and you're dancing by yourself. That's where you really shine. And I feel like a lot of our brothers and sisters, they didn't even give themselves the opportunity to find their fingertip feel. Is that all?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Not wrong.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But that comes back to the work. Facing the truth, having a laugh, just like, oh, fuck, oh yeah. I really want to get that fingertip feel at what I do.
Yeah.
Do you think it'll be harder for us as Pasifika to hit that because of the way we're not the way we're raised, but just we're such a collective, such a collective. We have such a collective culture that to be in that shak. To have that moment, to experience that, you really have to be okay to be on your own.
Yeah.
And you have to be okay to not have other people's approval. That, when you're saying, our Pasifika people, our own, can achieve it. You just highlighted Pasifika people, great storytellers. Performance talent is neck level. Like, I don't know if we're born with it or we're just raised up with it. But there's, and I don't want to neglect all the other domains, but that bit that you're talking about, being able to be in that space where you can just touch something and it just turns into gold. Like, you're right, it requires a lot of effort, but how do we achieve that in a collective culture? In a culture where we're so dependent on being part of the church or being part of the wider family. How do you step out of that so you can, or can you still be in it?
I don't know. I just know what worked for me. If for me to get here, how I got here, I had to break every rule.
Yeah.
My brother knows. My family knows. I wouldn't be a filmmaker if I still lived at home. I literally ran away from home.
How old?
Well, 18.
Just left.
I just knew where my life was going. Where do we? I was working in the factory since I was like 16. So in between the holidays, I would go work with my mum, and I would just see like, oh, this is kind of where it's at. This is life. It's normal. It's normal. It was at Office Max. Learned how to, I took pride in knowing how to wrap pallets with my cousins. I never saw a single cent because my mum held on to my card. But there's some story in there, and I was just like, man, this is, all these little things. But I knew there was a point in time in my life, because it's, you have different moments in your life where you need to make a move. And I remember I said to myself, I'm gonna go art school. I went to art school for 4 years, and I went and just stayed with my partner's family. God bless them. And to this day, I'm like, I'm gonna pay every single cent back, because it was that time when I moved away. And that's the thing, like I say it with not everyone has that luxury to do that. So my heart goes out to them, because it's not easy. But what worked for me might not work for you. You can still make it. I would advise to do the best that you can with what you have. Be resourceful. We're resourceful people, aren't we not?
Yeah.
My mom was just like, I was at a point in my time, because I'm rebellious like that. I'm like, fuck. I knew, like, I gotta go. Still went to uni, 4 years, held it down, met this guy, shout out to the Uso. And I at the same time, man, my story's all over the place in this damn podcast, but I was
cool.
I was dancing for Desire 2.0 competitively. Like I was going handy. I was living out my Michael Jackson dream. Like for real, like that was my like every time everyone will come in and do their solo piece when we go to schools and all that, they come out, the also Diamond, shout out to the also Diamond, he'll come out and he'll have a hoochie sit and Kama's just bingoing, just really, you know, he's doing his thing. And the other also come and do a crumpy sit, yo, jabbing the ear. And they're like, yo, Samson's turn, my song comes on, Michael Jackson, nice. And I'm free.
Yeah.
I'm like keeping that inner child alive. Once I clock that, then I go and do the degree. I take care. I earn my mom's respect when I got that. So I feel like you earn your family's respect when you do something. You know, it's not for everyone, but when you do something that makes them proud, they start to look at you differently.
But you didn't do that to make them proud. You did that because
I
you had
done
a
that
goal.
to prove them. I'm like, I'm not dumb.
But the fruits of that is they were proud, eh?
Yeah.
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 And that's the other thing I think people need to realize is you don't do things like you stepping out like that, leaving home, going, nah, this is not for me. But stepping out, that's hard too, eh? Because you've got to not turn back and you got to keep going. And it sounds like to me you found these pockets where you could go and keep those steps moving forward, and then it just I tell you, the drive just keeps building after that, eh? Because you get to see yourself in the Desire crew, and then you're like, if I can do that, I was doing this on my auntie's dressing table. Now I'm doing this in front of bloody mean ass dancers, and they're giving me thumbs up. When you experience that on your own, then you're like, then I go to uni. Even though I hated school, I'm going to do uni for 4 years. I'm going to get my qualification. Yeah, like that. But you actually need to go out from the collective to do that. I don't know. I don't want to, because there's many ways of doing it. But I also want to highlight from a bus speaker perspective, we're in this collective culture context. Mm-hmm. But we actually have to step out of that to really find ourselves and find what we really have to give.
Yeah.
It's so powerful.
Yeah. But how was that anyway, Samson? Obviously, you had to leave home, and that's the sacrifice you have to make because you're following your dreams. Was there any repercussions when you left the family? Your siblings, environment?
I was a villain. Yeah, it was some like hard times because I my friends became my family. Fuck, it was hard. Yeah, but like my mom and them, you know, love my mom. She got a partner, you know, my stepdad, love my stepdad, you know, and it was when I was 18, they came together, and then my little sister was born, and love my little sister, and you know, I just went and done my own thing, and my brother held it down, you know, so shout out to the also, my brother Jimmy, and the thing is, I had so much, you know, at the time, I had a lot of anger towards my family just because, you know, when you're not, I think as an islander or when you have a big family, they'll let you know if you're not good at something. I was somewhat of a black sheep. I was always rebellious. My mum still talks about when I stole the car at 10 years old and drove it around the block I would try it. I was always tinkering away. You know, we grew up watching Goonies and all that, so everything was an adventure. You know, we got the best of everything. I led an expedition of my cousins. I would negotiate, talk to them, just like, yo, we live in Otara, right? We need a video game. Let's all go to Papatoy and go to United Video. We walk like it's like the biblical times. And we were only like 12. We walk all the way only to get there, and the reception can only see like this part of my head. And they were like, I'll be like, put the game there, for Grand Theft Auto. I'm like, oh, can I get this please? They were like, this is R18, you can't get this. I'm like, oh yeah. And then they go and calculate it, and they'll be like, it says we have to call someone. They call my Auntie Teresa. She's like, hello. She's like, we got, what's your name? Samson. Yeah, we got a video game here. Can you get it out? Can you hire it? Just need an approval. And she said, what's the game? Grand Theft Auto. Nah. But the experience and the story, I'm like, I remember just turning to my cousin, fuck, auntie, we might have to get Ninja Turtles or something, man. Shit. And we're like, you know what? We walk back, but we would just talk, have all these experiences. And I never forgot that. I yearned that when I was in my solitude period, not being able to see my family. I grew apart from my siblings and all my cousins because we're all really close. But it was through that time I really got to see my family from the outside and be like, man, as hard as the struggle was, I'll do anything for these guys. I need to go and become like the greatest version of myself and be the anchor that my grandfather was, come back and be like, yo, we're doing this, boom, and then hold it down. And it was like, we need to link up like chains. We're gonna sit here. You know what I mean? And that's kind of, I don't know. It might not work for everyone, but I hope and pray that everyone finds their own version of it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not easy.
It's deeper. It's deeper than just leaving home. Like you share that story at 12 years old. But that was already in you.
Yeah,
it was already in
that's
you
why
at
I
12
say
years old.
it's in my heart, in my mind, and my soul that I was like, God made me for something great. Like I remember everything. Like every moment where I'm like, oh man, I would wish for like to be great, to be useful. Yeah. Everyone wants to be useful. I think when people make bad decisions, they're just aimless because they don't know what they want, and that's the hardest part. Is like when you don't know what you want, you're just gonna, I'm gonna go do something over here, something over there, and then it doesn't lead to anything. There's no, it's like
no purpose, eh?
Yeah,
lack of purpose.
Lack of purpose. Man. And I feel for people like that.
Jeez, it makes you wonder how many of our people, how many men who are roaming this world, or even this country, of lack of purpose. And I love that you've. We'll take us back to when you're working for Office Max, because you said, you was there like, man. It's kind of like, I don't know, I feel like it's like an epiphany that you're thinking like, oh, this is as good as it gets, man. There's more to life. And I like you said, oh, you know what, I'm just going to take off and do my own thing. I'm going to follow it and just going to just go for my dreams and just follow it, because and it's not easy. I can imagine how easy it's saying to your family, sorry, I'm out of your family looking at you, your anger's like, oh, come on, what if you so you're gone, do your thing, you're just staying with your partner at the time, or still now, is it? Yeah, cool. And look at you've achieved a lot of things thus far, and so family coming back obviously would have been like totally different. Like, oh, Samson, come, you done it. And so you would have encouraged a lot of your family members, like, you know what, if Samson can do it, I'm going to follow suit. I'm going to do it as well.
That's the thing. I'm still having problems with that. My brother knows. Jimmy would know. Like I try and be that guy for the family. Like when you've seen the world, and then you hear like their little problems that they have, and you're like, does that mean anything, man? No one cares. No one cares about that. You're so talented. What the fuck are you doing? Like, get up. Get going. Then they're like, that's what I wish for them to do. Because if they only saw how beautiful the whole world is, all these other cultures, all these people that are having way worse stuff, I wish that for not just like my family, but like people that go through things by themselves, you know. I would try and like, I'm the motivational guy in the group, but they think it's motivation, but I'm like, nah, this is reality. Get up. It's not a lot of time. You're only here for a short while. Why are you gonna muck around? Be you. If you don't know who you are, write it down, and then figure it out. I think there comes a moment in someone's life when you've done a bit of the work, you want to bring people with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the thing about it is you have to just let them fail so they can learn. they have to experiment for themselves. Because if you interfere, it's gonna, excuse my language, stuff up their timeline of how they are gonna eventually get to the person they become.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. I agree. You have to let them fail. As much as we want to get them on our backs and walk with them, it's not helpful. It's not helpful.
Yeah.
And they won't appreciate it if they don't hit that emotion, that rock bottom of, fuck, that was not cool.
Yeah.
They have to experience that in order to reach out.
Yeah.
And that's the only time they'll reach up and reach out is when they're at the bottom.
Yeah.
Whatever that means for them. But and you can only wish it, but you can't really lead people unless they want it.
Yeah. Can I ask you guys a question? Did you guys sit any exams in Sunday school? Did you do that? Was your church really competitive with that? How competitive was that?
Bro, to be honest, I used to come last, man. I was last all the time. I was terrible.
Now look at you. Look at this man.
Yeah, man.
Look at this man.
I went into the chamber. Also went to the chamber. And just
That's that finger stription phase. Right there. See,
I don't
but
even
that's
get
the
it.
thing. Like, I would advise the viewers out there is even if you're coming last, you're still gonna come first. You just gotta wait it out. Wait your turn. It's like that game of skipping rope. If you're doing it in a group, right? Everyone's lining up, and you're like waiting. You wait your turn. Boom, you get your timing. Jump. Move. Next person. Boom. Use it as an analogy of life. Sometimes you're in, sometimes you're out. But I came last.
I get it, man.
So, going back to the delusion thing, I didn't get here because I came last every year as a kid. And it was so traumatic for me.
Of course.
Like, because Samoans, man, they would let you know. I would go, but the thing is, when you come last and it's in front of the whole church, and then that's one thing. Then you go home.
Oh.
Then everyone's like, "Wah, kaya." Nah,
I believe.
Yeah. Like, just, and I remember as a kid, like I don't think I would ever do that. But that was just the times. I've forgiven my family. It's all good. But there was something about that still holds into people's memories, like when it's so painful.
Even though you
That's
say
why
it,
I'm
man.
laughing. Yeah, because that's what I mean.
You can feel it.
Yeah, because I remember.
I'm feeling. I kept bringing a bit, man.
Yeah, I got you.
Did you get the pencil and the book?
Fuck, when they give out awards.
I just get a pencil.
And
it's a pencil, man.
Shout out to the Uso Ravi, because he's the Uso. But he would always come first, but I would always think, massive ass trophy in my head. Maybe it wasn't that big, but in my head, all I said trophy. Theo Vaiaku's trophy or the Statue of Liberty he was taking home. And in my head at the time I was like, and coming last. I was like, when you walk up and your body language as a kid is like, get your award, and you're like, you stand there and you have to take a photo.
They give you a trophy too.
Man.
Well, in my head.
Okay.
No, I didn't get a trophy. But
they call you out?
But here's the coolest part of the story. The last year I set my exam, I did it with my cousin Lawrence, first best friend. Funny fact, my cousin, he lived right next door to me. Different experience, because everyone says, oh yeah, my cousin lives like, my family lived right next door to each other, so we had no fence. I thought everyone did that. I had like a village kind of way of growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll come back to
That's
that.
cool.
Yeah. It's a fun fact. But I remember my cousin Lawrence, it was our last year, and I hated coming last. I just hated losing and just being humiliated. It got to the point where when we were about to sit exams, some of my aunties would come up to me, they'll because I play PlayStation all the time, and they'll be like, wow, Songy, you gonna come last again, too much PlayStation? And I'm like, gosh. Nah. But it would get me down.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think I found a teeny little piece of Rambo came out. Because I was like, I'm going to study this memory verse like I'm going to just I'm just gonna like start preaching soon. Man, I memorized the whole damn thing. And when it came to the exam, I remember when I said it, I was like, I gave it the best that I could. And in my head, I'm like, one side of me was like thinking, oh man, I'm dumb. I'm still dumb. But my other side of me, but what if I'm not? Like, what if I'm not? Like, what if I'm just like, people just think I'm dumb, but I haven't even given because you know why? Because I never studied. No one, but the thing as an islander is that my family, well, all families expect their kids to just, if you don't come from like an educated family, like most people sometimes, they would go, yeah, I want to take you to the school, you go and study. I work hard. That was my mom's philosophy. You work hard. I'm like, but I don't know how. I don't know how. And then when I took the time to be like, oh, I'm gonna teach myself. I taught myself everything, went to the exam, smashed it. And I remember I looked to my cousin, because we were in the same class. When they did the prize giving, they read out everyone's names, and I wasn't last for the first time. For the first time, I wasn't last, and I was like, oh, okay. And then, it started going up, and I was like, oh, maybe I'm third. I wasn't third. Second, I think it was Ravi and his cousin Mata. They came second. Shout out to Mata. I love you guys. But I remember that story, and then I was like, wait. And then everyone's like looking, they were like, and first place, Samson Jones Valtuua and Lawrence Valtuua. And everyone's like, oh, these guys cheated. And I was like, no, because we never sat next to each other. We just somehow miraculously came first. But my family was like always like berating us, just like, man, hate coming to the prize giving and you guys come last. But the last time we ever done it, we finished off on a high together. And I remember I just looked at him and went, yeah, well, Kobe and Shaq, yeah.
Slam dunk.
And I remember looking at my mom, I was like, it was the greatest feeling of my life. And I've been able to take that and expand in everything I do. I think, so the point is, for people to make it applicable, is find the earliest win that you had and write it down. Like, how did I win? Success is found in like there's a formula to it. You find the reason of why you won in a specific field. And then you start to break it down. Oh, how was I feeling? What was I thinking? Maybe even go a step further. How was I eating? Was I sleeping enough? And then go a step further and be like, what natural traits did I have to win? And then when you find out, oh, I just needed to study a little bit more, maybe, for example. It's right there. The recipe of success is like found in the smallest details.
Yeah, that's powerful. And I love that you celebrated. You've captured all of that. And that's the thing, we have to remember these moments because these moments don't come often.
Yeah.
And we got to remember if I've done it before. Because I just want to add to that. You shared earlier that you're dyslexic.
Yeah.
So that's not easy to study those exams, read. So can you talk a little bit about dyslexia just so that people understand, how that impacts people's learning and how much more work you have to do to get to that from last to first? Because it's not just, when you're telling a story, people think, I just memorized. No, he shared that he also has dyslexia. That's a whole nother effort that you've got to put in to learn that.
Here's a short story. I mean, how do I start this? I was always ashamed of, I wasn't able to read when I was younger. And it was because my mom wasn't able to read to me. But the thing is, I would say, like, once I got into the habit of knowing how to read for me to attain the information, I was able to turn that, people would look at it as a disability into a superpower.
Man.
The thing I know about dyslexia is we have the ability to see spatially. Well, that's from my understanding. I've done a bit of research in it. I used to be insecure about it as a kid. I didn't even care. I didn't even give a rat's ass about like the thing. How I was able to turn it into something powerful for myself is, the spatial awareness. I can read something now, and I can see it in 4 dimensions of my head. Like I can how do I explain it? I've created my own fingertip good feel in my head. When I read something or I see something, I can compartmentalize myself inside a room, understanding all 4 corners of how to understand something, and I'll link it to a memory or to something that I've already experienced, so I can remember it forever.
Wow, that's mean.
That's my understanding.
Yeah. And so that comes with dyslexia?
Maybe, but
Yeah. Spatial
that's how I've been able to attain information and gain some bit of perspective.
Quite a few. 4 dimensions. God, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's quite a lot.
That is, and that's a superpower.
Yeah.
It's a bloody superpower because, if you're in the industry that you're in, this is your view of the world, and then you've got to conduct it in those lenses.
Oh, it was,
You've got to now streamline it to a point where you're able to capture the best moments. So when you have a superpower like that, you see things on multi-dimensions. Which is huge for other for people who don't see it. And so you get to, because you see various things, you get to pick the best one. And I mean, that works in your favor.
Yeah. Well, there's a book by, I forgot the name of the author, but it talks about different forms of intelligence. There's written, there's
the 7, is it a 7?
7 smarts, is it? Or
huh?
Was it the 7 intelligences? Or
what's it called?
I don't know. There's word smart. Is it
there's
numbers
smart,
kinesthetic,
there's
auditory, which is music.
There's also body, there's intelligence and understanding like human anatomy. Like
body.
There's certain people, I think, because I've been dancers will be able to explain this. They can look at one movement and be like, yeah, I know the whole choreography.
Yeah.
Once. Phoenix is one of them. And I can do that too. But not to that level. But I can look at a rhythm of a small choreographed piece and be able to break it down. See myself doing it, and then I get up, and then I do it. Boom, boom, straight away. But everyone has there's different levels to it. A muso, for example, can listen to music and be like, one sitting, starts playing it. Be like, how the fuck are you doing that? I'm like, intelligence.
Yeah.
So the dyslexic thing is, you can make it into,
Because there's another type of intelligence, and it's visual, and it's how you see things.
Mm-hmm.
And, some of our greatest creators are people who are able to take what they see on multi-dimensions and see something in that. And when they see something in that, this is where we get the creators. This is where we get the guys who kind of go, I think I want to create a plane.
Yeah.
I think I want to create a car. But only a type of intelligence can create that, because they have multi-level views to kind of go, something's missing. I think we could create this. And I think that's what maybe just what you're saying around dyslexia and stuff, and how and what that is and how you view life. God, I hear you when you say it's a superpower.
Yeah, what's a cool story that I would share, and that's why it's good having really good friends. I remember when I started my journey at City Fitness, I was at my heaviest. I was 125 kgs. Man's was big. I was that big. I was heavy. But, Rambo just went, life takes over. And I was heavy. I wasn't feeling myself. And I was wanting to get into some sort of personal development. This was 2017, I would believe. And I was with my best friend, Kevin. And he was going to the gym, and we would go to the gym and record him. Yeah, man, get it. He's doing his dips. After that, we would go into the carvale, and then we would talk. And we would talk about our emotions and just things that we knew, because we had a similar upbringing. he had a father, but he'll tell the story when he gets on here. I highly recommend that you speak to this guy next. But he was the first guy that I remember I told him about this. Wasn't even a problem. It was just like, oh, this is a thing that I have to deal with, like dyslexia. But I'm getting into filmmaking, and I wasn't even mad about it. I was just like, I don't know if you know that. And he was just like, oh, yeah, all good. Well, let's read. Yeah, and then I was like, oh, yeah. Sorry. I pulled out a book. Then I started reading to him.
In the car?
Yeah, we read, like, we just finished our full workout. Man, just sweating, all bitter, like, just, you smell like BO and shit.
Yeah.
And then you sit there and then you just, like, you read. The slowest reading I've ever done in my life. It was so slow. But he had the just, that's brothers. He just sat there and he's just like, meanus. Never laughed. I would have laughed at myself. But it's a real story. Because, if you could share that. And I remember he just sat there and be like, keep going. I would stumble on words. Because the thing about dyslexia, it's not you're dumb. The problem is you have a difficulty in decoding information. Words I don't think I'm fully dyslexic, but I have problems with certain words that I can't decode. There's like a buffer window for me to process, and then I get it. I get it straight away. Fast forward to 20, now I read books all the time. I read it at what's that movie? Bruce Almighty. That scene where he's just like limitless. I'm reading books, and I'm just attaining information, and the best way to, they say the best way to learn and, deepen your knowledge is you teach someone. Yeah. You learn it twice. And every time I read something, really, Stamaalo Kev, what are you up to, man? I was like, nothing, man. What are you up to? I'm like, I just read this book. Let me teach you. Boom. And I teach him. He's like, fuck yeah. Do you remember that time? I was like, yeah, bro. Bro, thank you. Thank you for being a good friend. And he was like, far out. Fuck, that's mean. And we would like share books. And in my circle, I call it my wise counsel. I highly recommend that everyone, not just men, have a wise counsel of people that they can go to, that you can share something that's really deep, things that you're struggling with, but they can hold you accountable. So they can push you to, go overcome it, work on it, go away, just chip away, just 1%. The Japanese, what's that word? Kaizen. Just a little bit. But just stay consistent with it and just keep going. And over time, in the span of a week, you might get better at it. In a month, you might be like, gain some level of competence in yourself. But then in a year, 5 years, man, you've really maxed out. You're a whole new, different person. The way you think, you're in other rooms, going to social networks, you're applying the tactics that you've learned. You're sitting there and everyone's just like, man, there's something about this guy. Yeah, I've read a few books and now I'm trying to apply it and trying to be comfortable with all of this. Again, it doesn't. Your insecurities don't matter in the long run because your time is so short. So why not just give yourself a chance to just like level up as much as you can? It's a game. Everyone has a scoreboard that they have to reach. Yep, max out. Why not? Oh.
It seems like there's a bit of a shift. I'm hearing it more often now, Samson. A lot of people are obviously getting into the reading, and then even now I've kind of started a book club with some of my brothers, and so it seems like a kind of a common theme now in terms of people like, hey, let's just personal development. Let's just kind of keep growing and keep learning. And I think the key thing you said, the key word you said is application. We can read as much as we want. We can be knowledgeable as much as we want. But if there's no application, if there's no doing, then it's pointless. And I love it. I love it that you're speaking facts for us to kind of level up as men, but not just men, but as people.
Yeah.
We gotta do the work. We gotta put in the work.
Yeah.
And sometimes I often ask myself, why are we putting in the work? And you said it as well. Insecure, we can be quite insecure because of our shortcomings, our inadequacies, and all that kind of stuff. But we need to put in the work. And also, man, the work you're putting it's evident because the things you're putting out there and the work you're showcasing, it shows the brilliance your mind and the work ethic that you've garnered, you've kind of done. So also, in terms of your creativity, what's the biggest thing? What's the next kind of level in terms of leveling up for you that you foresee?
Next level. Well, right now, currently, for this season, I'm just trying to master storytelling. Just try to get better at it. Here's my thing. My insight is the game is shifting right now, and it's always shifting. Something else is coming out, like a new tool, AI. You're going to be competing with a lot of things, but if you don't know how to tell your story or understand your way of telling stories, that's going to be really difficult. So I would recommend that you focus on honing in on the ability to understanding your creative skills to focus on. For example, me, storytelling. Just get better. Different forms of storytelling. I still don't know because I'm still a white belt when it comes to it. Going back to the belt analogy before the recording, so you guys wouldn't know anything about that. But having some level of self-awareness in terms of, okay, so where's my creative mental capacity at? Okay, it's like right here, cool. Well, we've got to increase that because you need to be creatively sound in a lot of areas. I was talking to the bro before we started recording that as a creative, you have to be able to wear multiple hats. Multiple. And know when to shift them, how to use them. There's nothing wrong with, there's a lot of things wrong with AI, but there's not a lot of things. I don't know. I just look at it as a tool. Use it then. The playing field is leveled for us.
Yes, it is.
Get the frick out of my way. I want to tell my story. You got to have that mentality because, never a time like right now for us to jump on and tell a story.
That's cool, man. So when you talk about stories, are you talking about the stories of old, in terms of homage to our ancestors, our people, or are you talking about the stories of your own story that you've...
Whatever shoe fits, my brother, I reckon, because I'd rather be vague about it and just extract what you think I want, because I don't want to be too specific and Samson said this. I'm just speaking just generally.
It's good, man.
Yeah, because it shows how bloody big your toolkit is. Because if you only had one way, and that's that black belt conversation we had.
Yeah.
If you only had the black belt way of doing things and you're at the top of your game, people want to sustain that and they stay there. And they don't always figure out new things. Whereas I think the privilege of being at a white belt is that you get to experiment, you get to try things, you get to keep adding to your...
Say a click, say a click.
You keep adding. And so I love when you're saying you're vague, but when you talk, you're not talking from a dude who reads books. You talk because your talk is you've done this stuff, you've tried this stuff, you've sat in this stuff. Like, I love that. That's why I'm so intrigued by you.
I think, because to be honest, when you would know, I think we all know, like when you go one thing, when you learn one thing, you realize how much you don't know about a lot of things.
That's true, man.
And there's a lot of people out there that are claiming that they know a lot of things, but they don't actually know a lot of things.
So true, man.
People can start a business tomorrow and be like, this is how you do this thing. Since when? Since now. That's the game we're in. Social media is all a game of seduction.
It is.
It is a game of seduction. I like to observe and watch. But the moment I play the game, I'll play the game. I won't be... we've all seen it. It's a game of status and all that. When you look at certain people on social media, and I'm going to go in on it right now, if you don't mind.
Go,
man.
Just as humble as I can, from my understanding of just watching from the sidelines, is the game of social media is the problem with the most talented people, they're on the sidelines because they're too scared to even give themselves a chance to even enter into the arena. But they're the most talented ones. They have it all. We gave you the kit. We gave you the gifts. The story of the guys with the 3 talents. Do you remember?
Yes, then he hit it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one of the he could have been the most. Hit it.
You had that one talent that could have changed the game because it was your talent. Aiva ayaku lesi kangaka. Half as talented as you. But you hit it. Nah, when you show it, you show it, low, sham it. I almost went there. But when you hide it, that's when you see like the game is saturated with people just, it's a game of numbers. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
There's nothing bad with it. Nothing wrong. I'm not like dogging on anyone. But, when they start collecting, the thing is you start looking at these people like they're somebody. You go around like, oh, he's like, sup, Uso? 2 arms, 2 legs, just like me. We're the same. Yeah, no different. They just have like a tick. But why do you want to be ticked on that when you aren't even ticked in life? No, like, I'm not trying to sound smart or anything. It's just like my mental framework would work in a way like, well, for people out there that, let's get this thing. Someday I might get a tick, but that's for the purpose of the professionalism, like I am verified, blah, blah, blah. But, don't play the game, play it well. Understand the rules, know when to break it, get something out of it, walk away with something. Yeah, and then, that's when you're using it properly. Apply everything that you've learned. Take breaks.
Because the game you're talking about doesn't have an end.
No, it's an infinite game.
And that's what people think, eh?
Yep.
Like when you're talking game, people think there's a start and then there's a finish, and then actually no, the game goes on, and you have to, it's about attack and defense all the time, all the bloody time. And you lose some, then you got to get your ass back up, and then you got to keep going forward. You win some. It's just that's the game we're talking about. And I think some people, when they hear that this is a game, they think, oh, I got a time frame, and then I can play this facade, or I can play this whatever, and then at the end of it, I've got what I need. But they don't actually, and you see like such a dump on people's mental health after that, because they don't. It's not a game like with a start and end. It's the game of life.
It's a lifestyle almost.
Yeah. It's an infinite game. There's no end. There's no finish line.
And it's not one dimensional. It's social media is one dimension. But if you're saying all this stuff, I'm really tempted to say something, but I'm like, sure.
Ooh,
just say it.
What's the?
Like, there's some authors who write stuff. I'm not going to say any names, but there's some people who
Go
write.
for it. Don't be nah.
There's some authors that write stuff.
No, we got your back. No. Yeah.
There's stuff, and this is just like, there's some people who will write books. Like, you go ask them some questions. So how did you apply this in life? Crickets. You write a book, and come on, man, you need to live it. Like, this is, to me, sad, because I'm like, if you are going to spend that much time writing a book, come on, live it. Like, I want to hear how you lived it out. I want to hear all the uglies and the beauties and when you dropped the ball and you picked up the ball and you got knocked over. Like, I want to hear that stuff. But if you didn't even experience that, what gives you the right to write the book? Kind of pisses me off.
Gives you the right to be an authority on that subject as well. So,
and that's where you're coming from, eh?
Yeah.
Like, you see all this stuff and you're like, hey, you shed no blood around that, and you're talking about this thing. Like, get the F off.
Yeah. But that's why I feel like people that we know, we all know people that have it. They're just not, they're spectating on the sidelines instead of participating.
I like the point you said, obviously, of the parable of the talents. Like you said, we know a lot of people who are super talented, highly talented, and just gifted, and they're like, man. And you're like you're saying, nah, that's all right. Nah, it's not me. And you're right. It's I don't know. Maybe it's because it's just the way they are. They're white, or maybe they choose their own choice. But I don't know. I'm with you, Samson. It's I think it's a travesty that you don't use that gift, that talent, and use it to the best of your ability. And just I'll just hide it here because it's only for certain people, and I'll just bring it out when I want to, when I feel comfortable. And feel confident with these people or these spectators, but man, I really believe the world needs to see that. The world needs to see what they're missing out, and you're missing out on what you could really achieve. But I don't know. I guess people, have other goals, so to speak.
Yeah. You can't
quite depressing.
Can't wish for them to. You just got to let them figure it out. But when they come to their when they come to the fork in the middle of the road, man, do something with that fork or something, and find a way to make it work for you. Use the fork to pick a lock and unlock your mind or something.
I feel like you're setting. I feel like you're doing a bit of a call out right now. A call out to those guys that are standing on the sidelines to say, "Tell your effing story, and I'll help you tell it."
No, you are, because you're really challenging. I think you are. Like, for those who are listening and those who are watching, man, I think Samson's talking to me. Oh, jeez. Maybe
they know who I'm talking to. Yeah. They know exactly what I'm saying. They're watching this shit when it eventually comes out. They're like, man, I can relate to this. Yeah. Make a YouTube channel or something.
Yeah.
Tell your story. Just talk. Well, they don't talk, but have some substance. Yeah. Add a bit of flavor. Bring your version of it, your version out to the world. In some ways, write if it's easier, Yeah. Just document your life or something.
And this is what you do, This is what you do, is you create the format for people to be able to tell their story.
Yeah.
And I think maybe another reason why the ones that we want to hear from are not coming out is because they don't understand the space. They're too shy of the, the feedback. You can work on that, but I also think the other thing is, like, how's my story going to be told? Because, again, there's only one lens.
Yeah.
And then how you use that, I think how you use that is going to be, they need to know how you use that to be able to bring the best side of them, or just the key bits that people need. Because one of the things around storytelling, especially in the mental health space, and more so in the last couple of years, is there's been a thing around exploitation.
Yeah. So
people try to get people to tell their stories for the whole sake of increasing their organizational profile,
Really?
So they'll get their mental health stories, or, there's funding out there for that, around storytelling, with lived experience. And so this becomes like there's a bit of people need stories. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a difference between what I'm hearing from you is that people have a story to tell, and you need to tell that story to give more hope and, share some of your tools, because not everyone's a book reader. And people will go into these formats and these platforms, but then there's a whole nother group that do storytelling, but they do it in a way where they exploit people, and they exploit them to the point where, thanks for that, and we got what we needed for our organization, as opposed to, really looking after the person who owns the story and own the journey.
Yeah.
And so you kind of see that happening too.
It's the industry, yeah. That's another.
Is that the game?
Yeah.
It's the game.
How's the game in New Zealand in terms of the film industry? Obviously different globally, but what are your thoughts? Like, oh man, is it what it's cracked up to be, or is it just?
I've had my experience coming in. Wasn't easy. They have this term called "eat shit." Excuse my language,
bro.
I haven't actually eaten it. Okay, but I've had to have my experience of just coming from the bottom, just to get a foot in the door, just working for like $50 a day, just to work and crew, and just to be as close as I can to a director. I came straight from art school. I didn't go film school. Let me clear that up. I knew I wanted to get into film, but through the grace of God that I met a few talented people along the way. That's why luck comes into play. Is it luck or is it destiny? I don't know. Maybe both. But I met some good people at the right time as I was transitioning from, leaving art school in my fourth year, And then I got to experience, other people directing. I got to go on, other TV shows and just see how they operate. I'm like, oh, it's big scale. I was just shooting little fight sequences at the back of Otara with my uso Ian and Greg, and shout out to those usos. And I was like, I actually want to do this. And when I got into the industry, there's no straight road to get to the top. You actually have to put in the work. That's why I refer back to, you put in the work. Like find your own way. There's no straight path to the top. If you're born with privilege, well, good on you, man. I'll see you there. Make sure that the work that you have make sure your character is set. That's the thing, is because the thing about eating shit is it develops this, for me, it's developed this drive to be like, yeah, I want to see how long I can eat this shit for. And then eventually as I level up, my ability to be comfortable in those spaces as a brown person, because when you're brown, I never really saw anyone that was in the director's roles in my first few experiences coming into the industry. But then I was really humbled enough to be working on set for alongside the big uso Jerry Tawamiti, Vea Mafileo. These are my older siblings, and they were making what's it called, the Vodafone Pacific Music Award segments, intro segments in the 2018, and I worked just anywhere I could, and I shadowed them. I learned how to direct as our style. And they led with so much integrity. They had so much heart, and I was like, man, I saw the other crews that are not of Pacifica, but I needed to see what, going back to, when I know what a model looks like going back to the father kind of upbringing, when I know what it looks like, when I know what a mother and a father looks like, the right way they conduct themselves, okay, that's the standard. And I saw that early. And even some of the Palangi mentors that I had along my journey, Alden Booth, lovely gentleman from Papakura, he's Palangi, Irish descent, Alex Lovell. They took me under their wing, and we made my friend Michael Jones, because Alden was my lecturer at art school. And Ian, shout out to the uso Ian Lau Pepe, he done a diploma, certificate, diploma, one of the things. He went to film school. He did a diploma at art school, and then he went to film school because he got the spider bite of wanting to do film. He went there. We met up later. Alden pitched the idea. I have a nugget of an idea of a dancer that has OCD. Yeah, you guys can have that. We took it and we're like, oh yeah. Then we added all of our experiences on that. We colored it in the way that is of Pacifica. So I give all the credit to the great mentors that I've had along my journey that pushed me here. I am just a speck in all of this because of the web and connections of people that have helped me create my own Spideyverse version of myself, if that makes sense.
Huge.
Yeah.
That's cool. So you see them. So just to break this down, you see the Western way of doing things, eh?
Yeah.
And then you see our Pacifica people and the way they do things, and you've seen how they come together.
Yeah.
And how you can produce even better.
Yeah.
This is neck level.
Yeah.
Of when you collaborate the two.
Yeah.
And I think and I don't think we see that enough, because quite often it's always about one or the other.
Yeah.
And what you've done is you've meshed them together, and in meshing them together, you actually create, coming back to multi-dimensions, you've added other levels of perspectives on that.
Yeah.
And that's rich.
I think the first filmmaker I ever met that I saw that was doing this was, I have to give a massive shout out to Stallone, Waiaonga Iwasa, and his sister Stallone. Man, I've got stories for days, because going back to the original story, at Dream Whono, I saw young Efeso Collins doing a speech about having a dream. He gave from my memory, he gave a Martin Luther King type of speech for me to remember till this day. about dreaming big, of being proud of where you come from. He said, I'm from Otara, went to Tangaroa College, and I was sitting there because everyone else was from other schools. And no one wanted to rep TC. But in my year, the theme of my year, I reminded Beulah, do you remember the theme of our year? What was it? Legacy. And it was that time that I remember that he cemented that legacy in my head. And there was a young filmmaker at the time, I think he was like mid-20s. He's going around filming for Tangata Pacifica. Mandem was Stallone. And I met him there. I was 16. I was with my red headband, and I seen him. I was like, what's this guy doing? I like film. He's doing his thing. And I was inspired. And I remember he was doing a piece on Tangata Pacifica. Bro, he went and interviewed me, and I think people were like saying, this guy's on crack or something. Like, because I was already this version of myself back then. I never changed. And I think that's the problem with a lot of people. It's good to change once in a while, but when you're not authentically yourself, you go the longest way only to come back to yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt.
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Wow, so you got to meet Stallone back then?
Yeah, and it was, and then, years later, he found out I was a filmmaker, and then I went and shadowed him. It was so full circle.
Were you on both movies?
I shadowed him, not for Three Wise Cousins, but for Take and Pay.
Yeah.
Take and Pay. What else? What's the other? Oh, Mama's Music Box.
Oh, did you do Hibiscus? Ruthless and
No,
Hibiscus?
I didn't. But it would. If you want to see what a leader looks like, man, that guy. He's intelligent. We had a lot of similarities. I know the Uso. He his father experience. He'll tell you when he's on. But it made me think, man, if this guy can do it, and he's a lawyer by trade. Yeah, he's a madam spoko.
Yeah.
But it gave me a kind of standard to aim towards. I'm like, oh yeah, this is what Polynesian excellence looks like. And he conducts himself in a certain way. And I love that guy. I love his mom. Like, I met his whole family. And I'm like the little brother of all of these guys. Like, I'm like still a baby. I was like 20 something. And now I'm heading into my early 30s now. I still see myself as like a little homie, like a white belt. Like, I'm still learning. Every now and then I still want to roll and try to get better. And I'm still humbled because I've met a few young PI filmmakers that have come up now. I try and talk to them how Stallone and Vera, Jerry and Alden and Alex would talk to me. They didn't make me feel less than. They just reminded me like, oh, you're a pretty special kid. Like,
Wow.
You have like a personality, like, focus on these areas. Or they would take the time to just educate me on certain things that I was not good at. And sometimes it was when they didn't speak on set. Like Jerry had this one thing. I stole this from him. I stole it right under his face. But when he was shooting Liliu, have you seen that song?
No, I haven't.
Gotta see it. Gotta send you the link. Jerry, send him the link, please. We're in Samoa, and he's filming the short film, and he had a paper baton. He would always hold it, and he just looked so authoritative. Like he was like thinking, holding the baton, and he'll be directing, like just looked like one of those old school. But when I saw him do that, I was like, I'm gonna steal that. You gotta get me. When I was directing my friend Michael Jones alongside the Uso Ian, you see the behind the scenes like photo stills and my little paper banner, man. When I pass it to you, you say a boat after this. My bad. Here we go.
That's me.
But you know what I mean? It was just sorry. Yeah, I think that's another thing I would advise is surround yourself with people that can see the beauty in your talents.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with great mentors that can see the specialty that you have in your life and then follow suit straight away. Don't allow your ego to be like, oh, I'm going to take that thing and be better. Yeah, your job is to be better, but remember the humility that they took to like nurture your gifts.
How do you do that though? Like, you know, to get in front of those kind of guys. These are not little guys. These are guys who are doing things on big scales.
Yeah.
And so you have, and like with in such a noisy environment now that you have to make yourself stand out for them to notice all those qualities of you to be able to invest that time, because they're not just going to invest time in anyone.
No.
And so like, you know, people who are, you know, sitting at home with an idea, like I want to do this, I want to do that, but I don't know how to get there. And you're saying, get yourself a mentor, get yourself a wise counsel. The mentors are really important because they're in it. But how do they do that? Like, do they just connect with them? And what, like, there's a process around that too, eh?
I wouldn't know exactly how.
Because you just know what you want and you just get it.
Well, yeah. Well, when you think it in your mind, you attract. When you have some sort of aura of like, oh, I can work with this kid, I can work with this person. You gotta be humble yourself a little bit. I don't know if I was humble, so you need to ask them. But I think I was just myself. I never fully changed. I just stuck to my guns, as I do, and they saw something in me. And you know, every now and then I would just drop in and say hello to people, and they'd be like, "Oh, he's here."
That's cool. Yeah.
Sorry, I think I'm going a bit.
No. I think that's the beauty of it, Samson, because you said that they saw something special in you, and you put yourself out there, and I don't know. I'm just assuming there's quite a few influx of Pacifica people coming in and becoming film directors and so forth. Yeah. But they saw something in you in the early days, and now you're seeing something in some of these younger ones that are coming up. And I think that's important. You know, people look up to you and you looking up to other directors, and I think we need more of that. We need more people like, hey, because you could be like, you know what, who's these young people? Game me wasting my time. Get out of my way. Do you know who I am? Yeah, all that kind of stuff. But you choose not to, and it's cool. I think it's refreshing that, and people feel like, oh, I can actually talk to Samson. Yeah, as not only as a director, but as a person. Yeah, that's just a title to me. If I'm being honest, the directing, that's my weapon of choice of how I get to express myself. Every now and then, when no one's around, I go hang the kangamea, like hang the washing. I go into my next weapon of choice. Listen to NSYNC, bye. Thing. Dancing, that's another. Everyone has like so many weapons of choice. Depending on which one you choose, that's when you want to shine there. Yeah. And I think the beauty in sharing it to the world, like you increase your chances of really like someone out there that can learn from it and take away some value from that, and go to sleep. And I think, that was cool.
Is your team, your production team, quite big, or do you do most of it on your own?
I do most of it. Nah, it depends on the project. I do so many. The way I talk, I do so many different things. Yeah, I can hear sometimes that. I'll shoot a music video. I'll assemble a team. That's one thing. I think for directing, right? You got to have so many different skills. It's not one skill. Some people are really good technically. They don't know how to talk to actors. That's all right. That's just their skill. They're really good at painting like interesting visual images. Other people, they might be really good with actors, but vice versa. They might not be good with the technical side. I would advise that you try your best to learn all sides and then create I'm not there, but I mix it up and try to learn all styles like a mixed martial artist creatively to just like I met Vila, for example. We were writing my friend Michael Jones. Love you, Vila, my guy. We were writing my friend Michael Jones back in 2017, 16. And we were coming up with the character from Alden and Ian. We had to meet our deadlines. I already knew in my head, I'm saying this humble, but I already knew in my head that I could spatially go there. I was like, who can play this interesting character for MJ? I already knew it was Vila. He had the aura of the character, just right how he is. You know how he is? Just so innocent, He had everything. When you're lucky enough to create a character like that and someone can play it, they can bring it to life. But when they already have it like him, damn, I was like, damn, that guy's got it. And I remember I purposely, I was like, how do I get to know this guy? I have like such a weird way of just doing things, and I went and put myself into a massive theater company so I can get to know him. And I was working as a spy undercover. So I would learn his, so I went and learned his mannerisms, and I wanted to see his creative range, excuse me. So I knew what his capabilities was. And I'll give the intel back to the team, and I'll tell the team like, oh yeah, no, Vila can do this. And, there was a sequence at the end of the film, like, he has to do a backflip. I was like, then they're like, can he do a backflip? I'm like, yeah, he can do a backflip. He did. Oh, at the time. But my mind was like, he can do a backflip.
He's going to
He's
do
gonna
it.
do a backflip. Came on the day, we were practicing the backflips. I went and learned how to do a backflip. Like, I already knew how to do a backflip, but I hadn't done it in a while. I went and done it with him. Like, my directing style is, I like sports. I like to coach people. My directing style, my approach is, I'm going to coach you to do it. You say you can't do it, I'm going to do it with you. And we'll get to that point where you do it, I let the training wheels off. And you do it.
Yeah.
And I remember on the day, Vila was doing so much great work. I believe he was just like, maybe fatigued or whatever. He's going, and shout out to the Usos, Phoenix and Tony. They were the choreographers. Tony was the lead choreographer, and he was just practicing, getting him to. It was such a long day, and we needed Vila to do a backflip. And one thing I know about Vila, and everyone else can agree, man, just a little hop, Jolly bungas all the way to the sky. He has like those Michael Jordan hop. Yeah, he's. I'm like looking at you, he's like that. But on the day, I was like, man, you got it. On the day, it was like one take. He was like practicing, and it's like, okay. Comes to do the scene, he's doing his routine, dancing, whatever, and then we were waiting. We film, boom, Gamma throws it, lands, and then he lands and he's standing there. He's like, looks back, and then we're like rolling, and then we're waiting for cut, and we're like, and cut. We sprint and just hug him. Just bear hug him. We're like, you done that, man. Goes back to that Peter analogy. It's you, Peter. You're really doing it.
You actually just transferred that whole getting first place with Lawrence. Yeah. You transferred that moment into him because he had never experienced that. That's mean.
That was all him, man. Jeez. That was all him. It was just like, I personally love seeing people shine.
Yeah.
That's the greatest part of being a director. Fuck, like telling stories, great, all that. But when you see an idea come to life and they start to play in front of you, and you just kind of negotiate your way of maybe try this, maybe try that. The best actors, the greatest actors, you don't even have to direct them. You just have to play around with ideas. And my understanding as a director, white belt, is that I've had the pleasure of working with the best talents. When they listen, I'll offer something. It might be dumb. It might be so dumb. But they'll be like, oh, I want to try something. Or I'll see something in my head and I'll just transfer it to them. And they take the idea and they expand it. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, when you come from struggle, I can talk from that place. Like, for example, lecture. I tried something totally different where I played music in our rehearsals, and I remember I'll just play it and I'll get them like David, the movement, and Yavana. I gave him my name, Junior and Mangi. So my relationship with my uncle, so, going back a little bit further, my grandfather passed away. My uncle took over duties because he lived next door. How ironic. Love it. Hey, uncle. It was such a tough time because he would discipline me. I would get hidings. I love him. But it was those memories that, it's out of love, but he cared so much for me and stuff. In hindsight, when I think about it, it was all for the good. As hard as it was, because they came from a hard life.
Yeah.
The good thing about him is he fed the Samson Rambo drive because he would wake me and my cousin up, his son, to go run from Otara all the way to the pirate ship boat every Sunday morning.
What?
Yeah, he would just like, whangulunga, like wake up. And I remember I woke up and then I'll be like, my mum will be like, you gotta go. And I'll go, well, it's Sunday. They'll be like, you gotta go for a run. And his own, I don't know, Samoan motivational way will be like, we're gonna come to the boat. I was like, I don't even know where this boat is.
Jeez.
Where's this? Stewart Island?
Yeah,
Happy days.
Happy days.
Yes.
Happy days.
So just a bit of context for people out there. Out in South Auckland, there was this pirate
Deserted
ship.
pirate ship on
that's,
grass.
That's the same boat that Johnny Depp and them were
The Caribbean, the Pirates of the Caribbean.
far out.
I think they picked it up for their
Yeah.
movie set.
But we would run. I remember I said, how far is that? And they're like, Happy Days. Happy Day? That's not a happy day. It's like, I want a happy meal.
Happy hour.
Happy hour. I was only like, I wasn't intermediate. I believe. Oh no, intermediate. Turning into high school. Like I was third form or fourth form. But he had this thing where he would like, it was his way of showing love, because if he didn't discipline us to stay the right path, everyone else was on my street. Sometimes they would go, because there was no framework to be like, that's the border, don't cross it. Why? Because when you cross it, there's no rules, and when there's no rules, via Mad Max.
Chaos is chaos.
Kaka Meister Mal or Tom Hardy, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you have that father figure role, bless him, man. It was tough. It was so tough. I feel like I got the worst hidings. But there's a badge of honor for me. It's nothing too bad. People get it worse because I learned. And it was through that, I went and became this version. I don't know what the point is of the story, but you know what I mean.
Oh, that's
Yeah, I
cool.
know what you mean.
How did we get here?
Yeah, how did we get here?
We came
Damn.
here because, it's an awesome story, gosh. But he carried the... No, but he carried...
Wait, there's a point to it, but
There
I
is
lost
a
my
point.
train.
No, we've got to go back to the point.
Okay, wait.
How did we
What was the
get
point?
here, guys? We got here because...
Yeah, we got here. But see, that's the
There's
problem
a-
sometimes.
Oh, yeah, no, because it was such a good story. It's just sometimes that's a sort of a good storyteller,
But that's how films end sometimes, eh? Nah, for real.
Ambiguous.
You ever watch a film and you're leaning in, something happens, and then it just ends, and what is this?
What does it mean, bro?
What does it mean, bro?
Open to interpretation.
Yeah.
Oh, it's abstract.
Yeah,
Oh,
some
my gosh.
directors do that. I've been to like film festivals where I watch it, I'm like, stink.
No, you're talking about actors. You know, how you have to work with actors, have a framework, and you're using that whole
Yes.
example
Yeah.
as the framework that you use to understand, what drives the actors. But the thing is, I can imagine as a director, you're not just looking at the actors. You also got the camera crew, you got the side crews, you got a whole heap of people that you have to put your attention on and develop to be able to produce that level of excellence that you're wanting to output. So you're not just looking at the actor and we need to get him to flip. You're also like, man, you got to capture this
Yeah.
because it's one take.
Yeah.
You guys, but it's a multi-level hold that you stand in, and I guess that's where maybe the frameworks are really important, eh?
Yeah.
Frameworks are important because you have this discipline.
You got to have all of these components to make you have your own back as a director.
Yeah.
In my understanding and my experience that I've had, you're alone all the time. You're alone. You'll have like a crew of, 20, 30 sometimes, all waiting for your one command. You're like a sergeant, right? You're going to tell the story. Before that, weeks before that, you're prepping. You're talking to this department. You're talking to that department. You're constantly talking to people, and you're trying to buy everyone into this one vision, right? And at the same time, you're trying to talk to the actors to make sure that they execute, you know, the thing that is that you're creating. The makeup team, you know, make sure there's the right one, costume, all that. And then on the day, after all of that prep work, you go on to shoot. You have to mentally say to yourself, like, damn, okay, we're going to do this. Because things, you know, Murphy's Law is always in effect. When things go wrong, it goes wrong. Oh, my storyboard says there's a sun. Where is the sun?
It's raining.
Where? Okay, it's a horror film now. It's raining.
Damn.
It happened in Liliu. I remember. I believe Jerry was sharing his thoughts with me. I was the understudy, just observing him, and he was just like, "What do you think about this?" I said, "What is it?" And he was like, "My storyboard. It's supposed to be paradise." Samoa. Yeah, Kimu, man, it's raining. And I was just talking to him, just like adding my two cents in. I was like, oh, that might look, you know, add a bit of atmosphere. I should have shut my mouth. But he was just like, oh, that's good, yeah. I remember, I was like, oh, I have an opinion. But he treated me like a director. You know? And when you treat yourself like a director, how does a director act? Yep. Well, they got to make decisions. And on set, you always have to make a decision, even if you don't know if it's the right one. Man, I sucked so many times on set that I had to consult myself many times. I can't go to anyone. You can't. But I lean into my experience of all the stuff that I've gone through. I'm like, I've been here before. I'm all good. I'm all right. It's not easy.
No.
And I remember one of the young, this young Uso, they wanted to do directing, and they were like saying, "Wow, this is easy," and I was like, "I remember that feeling." Then they were like, "Nah, directing is easy," and they're so young, and I was like, oh, "Damn,
You gotta learn, man. You gotta learn.
but my thing is like, don't interfere, just allow them to like." Go and figure out if it's still easy after like a couple of shoots. They go and do it, and then I talk to them like, how was it? They were like, fuck, that was hard. That was hard. I was like, why was it hard? And they're like, it's just a lot of things I couldn't control. I'm like, yeah, you think it's easy because you can make it easy. Like the one thing that you can do, that's easy. The moment you start adding more people into your operation, yeah, ngale, that's a whole nother military operation that you have to execute. And I told them, well, I thought to myself, well, the thing about a director is that not a lot of people can take the heat on their chair. The director's seat. You have to be able to sit in there. And you have to be comfortable when it's hot. And not just a director's seat, but even as a family, you know, the head of the table, both the mother and the father, that's a heavy seat. You miss one of those chairs, remove a family member, something happens to them, boom, it's lopsided. Now someone else has to step up, the elder sibling. And you have to work in relationship to the younger sibling or whatever, like get them to be competent. It's life. The directing is not just like film, it's like life. And you have to be able to see things, execute, make decisions on the fly. The greatest thing that I learned from it is my ability to make decisions and execute them at the best level that I can with everything that I know and everything that I can plan for. And I've always done this since I've been filming, is I'm always prepared to just throw everything out the window and just give it like, fuck it. So, excuse me, fuck it. We'll just give it a go. And then some of the best, that you want to know what movie magic is? Movie magic is like something that happens in a serendipitous type of way, and people will be like, "You're an artist. That's cinema, bro." And then you sit there and you just like stay quiet and be like, "Yeah, standard G."
Oh my gosh.
there's like so many levels to this.
Yeah.
Like jujitsu. I don't know anything about it, but the analogies that I'm using is for every move, there's a counter move I heard.
Yeah. That actually sums you up quite well. With every move, there's a counteract move. I'm really curious, using Jamin's line, I really want to know, very aware, I really want to know, like, because you also have to be hard. You also have to call that, because I hear your positivity, I hear you're trying to empower people, but you also have to be that guy. Like as Rambo, you got to pull the gun out sometimes and actually do some of this.
Yeah.
What do you like with that? Like the hard conversations.
I'm still working on it. I've been on some really hard shoots where I'm like, fuck, I suck. Like I suck. It's you got to leave your emotions because you're dealing with people. All the time, big person. Everyone has an opinion on like, I think it's like this. And when everyone puts their hands in the pot, you're like, or just get your hand out. My pot. You know what I mean? But to be a great collaborator is to be open to that. Is to be like, add your sauce. Not the sauce easy, but the sauce. You know what I mean? Just to create something.
But you can't. But there's a limit to that, right?
Yeah,
because you're also working on time, money. Like you only have a certain time, and so they you know, I can imagine as a director, and as a person who owns the vision, knows what he wants, you also have to say the hard stuff. Like you got to call that out, and I can really gauge that you're quite an emotionally intelligent person, and because of that, you have to turn that stuff off because then you got to go task, 100% task. So how do you make the switch, and how do you do it so that you don't feel like caca afterwards?
I don't know how to explain it because what might work for me,
or what works for you?
you just say
it's
like a switch for me. When people talk to me and they were like, this is the problem that we're dealing with, I'm like, cool, okay, we'll deal with it. That sounds like, well, okay then, Mr. Whatever, but like that's because I can't do anything about it. I can't control. The thing is, you have to have some sort of stoic approach to understanding that it's not going to work out. So what's the next best thing? In my mind, my mental framework is, so what? What am I going to do? Well, the sun's over there. Well, let's wait for tomorrow. And when dealing with people, I've gained this new understanding of drawing boundaries or communication.
Yeah.
We have such a hard time to, you got a problem? Say it. Ian, a prime example. We were going to war with each other. I will say that proudly because I love that guy. Co-directing, directing is one thing, but when you're co-directing alongside your brother that you love and you want to do these things together, but you butt heads, I don't think anyone, well, hopefully, but no one saw this on my friend Michael Jones. But I remember we would talk about it even till this day. I'm proud I went to war with you because we were so young. We were like 24, 25. We went behind my mum's garage. We were filming at my mum's house in Papakura. And we would say all the things that we were in. Everyone else is waiting for us. 5 minutes, walk. Sorry, how are we going to do this? We talk it out, keep our voices low. And then we come up with a strategy. We'll let it all out, communicate what needs to be done. And they'll be like, cool, let's do that. Break.
Oh.
Like it's like a team thing. And then we walk out, got you. That's
cool.
You got to have some level of understanding with yourself of what is necessary for the story, because story is king. Can't leave your might not just be story, but a lot of things. That's why a lot of relationships end, because I cross aku and like, damn, bro, you just crossed my line, man. So go see the VAR as much as you can, because everyone's got different lanes where they intersect, and you can't do that with everyone, but know it with yourself, and then use that as a guide, like a standard guiding post for you to measure yourself off. One thing I would add is most of our people that I know that come from struggle are some of the most, they're very intellectual when it comes to emotional intelligence. That's, I heard something, I read something, or I might have heard it on something, but they said, you know, having an IQ, gets you higher there. But having EQ, emotional intelligence, gets you promoted. Yeah. So my line of work, I might not have all the, you know, intellectual gifts like all the other usos that went to other prestigious schools. I went to little old Tangaro College. I'm just a humble boy from South Auckland, Otara. I don't come from much, but I do understand the human laws of human nature. Yeah. Yeah. I understand people. And that's a superpower that our people have, is we know how to kosi the vai and know how to look after each other. You're good, I'm good. Let's go. Let's make this. Boom. People be like standing up, clapping. And then your family's ganging. They look at you and you're like, and then you say to them, I told you I wasn't useless.
I told you I got goals.
Yeah,
I got goals,
you think
man.
I forgot? Nah.
I love that, man. Thank you so much. That's such a cool, that's such a great strategy that you use is, and you need to talk it out, go behind the garage or let's go to a quiet room and let's just have an agreement to just let it all out. Yeah. No rules, no, like no barriers, let it all out, because we have a task at hand. Yeah. We need to solve this. Yeah. And it might mean I'm going to piss you off. Yeah. You're going to piss me off. Might even have a bit of a fist fight. That's okay. But we're going to get to the bottom of what we need to get to. And then when this is finished, close it off, go back to what we need to do. I love that.
Great strategy.
I love that.
Yeah, it is a great strategy.
That goes with just every relationship.
But we don't put barriers, we don't put boundaries around that, like you just shared. You know, we just ongasai, and then get your pa. You know, like we actually have to get your pa.
You know?
No, but you're absolutely right. I think we need to give ourselves permission to just say all the stuff that's there, get it out, sort it out. Uma.
Yeah.
Uma.
Yeah.
And then come back as a team, come back as one, you know, because people think, they see the division, something's going on. But then you guys, what you did, the example of you and Ian, just get together, okay, let's work it out, come back, hey, we're all good, we're still on track. But also, man, I tell you what, in terms of the analogies you shared and the metaphors, it's not just about directing. And people think, a lot of people may be watching, oh man, and like the young fella you were saying, that's easy. Directing's easy. Man, I can do that. I can guarantee you there's a lot of guys, I can do that. I can, that looks easy enough for me to do. But you like you said, you're in the hot seat, and I can guarantee, and I know this, that when you're working with people, different personalities, different, abilities, and sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, it's a balancing act. Yeah. And then you're trying to figure out who, sometimes you don't want to be a people pleaser. You think, okay.
100%.
All that kind of stuff. You go, how do we adjust to this person? How do we adjust to this situation? But you're right. I love what you did. And it is, what I'm gauging from you as a director is that, because people think as directors, because I want my name, my title as director on the film, or the accolades I get as director. People know me as a director, and I hear that a lot of times, obviously in big Hollywood and all that kind of stuff. But also, what I'm hearing from you is that it's more than just the title, more than just the film, more than just the story. It's about the people, and you said it yourself, perfectly said it. Man, I love seeing people succeed. I love people when people are doing these things. And wow, you get to create with them, and you see it firsthand. Also, man, I tell you what I've gauged tonight is you got a massive heart, man, and your heart is really about the people. It's not just about the accolades. It's about how do I first help yourself and achieve your goals, but also achieve the goal and help others achieve their goals. And that's quite rare sometimes, because some people are like, they can like, I want to help this person, but really it's about me. So I'll just use you as one of the vehicles.
Oh man.
But you're one that I can gauge from your energy. Said, no, that's not the case. My case is, how do I use my talents? How do we collaborate together? It's a win-win for all of us. Yeah. So everyone eats at the table, so to speak. Everyone has success. And so, also, man, mad respects to you, man. 100%
I'm
mad
still
respects.
buzzing out there. I'm like listening to you talk because I'm a fan. I'm a fan of this show.
We're a fan. We're a fan. Man, just
huge.
And so it's the respect is mutual, man. It's just Oh, we can go on for days, man. I think
I think
we can go on.
we can go on for days, man. Because you just seem like, because you're early 30s. Did you say?
33 now.
33, same age as my brother. So you're early 30s, but honestly, I feel like I'm talking to somebody who's lived a couple more decades than that. Just your level of experience and knowledge, gosh, it's huge. I could sit here and just dig, but also what you've allowed yourself to sit in the midst of, like the challenges, the pressures. They're not like the everyday pressures, eh? They're not everyday pressures.
Yeah.
And you let yourself be in that space, take on the mantle of, I need to make 1,000 decisions in this little moment, but get it wrong.
Yeah.
But like an opportunity to rectify if I need to, like just your attitude. I have one question though.
Yeah.
And this is because of your, where you've come from. And I love that we've spent 80% of our conversation there. Hey.
Yeah, I love it.
I love that.
I don't like talking about films because I love films, but I don't really care.
I love that we've talked about what shapes your approach to the weapon that you've decided to use as an expression.
Yeah.
I love that you've shared that with us. But one question I have is, because you've come from, you've shared that you've come from, an upbringing where, poor, that's your words, yeah. Didn't have a dad. We understand poverty, we understand brokenness, we understand all of that. When you hit success, when you hit it, are you going to be able to? Are you going to be able to enjoy it? Are you going to be able to live that out and not feel like look around and go? And you might be the only one standing there enjoying in that space. Are you going to like embrace that instead of nah? Are you prepared for that? Like
I've been preparing for that moment for many years. I think when you really talk to yourself in a way like, I'm going to go all in, and you have moments in stormy nights where you don't even know if you're going to make your next, you don't even know how you're going to pay the bills when it's so hard. And then, shout out to my partner, like she deserves all the freaking praise.
You haven't spoken about her.
She's behind every man like myself. There's someone that's like holding the fort down. So her family, my mother, she's kept it all together for me. So I give her all the praise. Like for everything that I've done, I'm not perfect by no means. But I like, because I never had the example of how to see I've seen glimpses of what great men look like in my life. I aim to be something at least perfect in my head of what I could become. I'm never going to reach it, but at least if I can just aim to be a better person every day for the sake of my family that are sacrificing everything, I want to. My thing is, success to me is when I can just go into my mum's job, my partner's job, and just like, yep, you can retire. Get out of there. I always envision that. That's every not just Southside, but every boy's dream to be able to walk in. And this is the thing, the last story is, I remember when I was working with my brother at Dean Apparel and my mum, all three of us. I just finished like art school. I was doing, the thing about filming, you're not filming all the time. I didn't have the networks to be able to jump on like big TV shows. I don't know that many people at that time. I was working on a conveyor belt, like just stacking, putting clothes in, picking and packing. That was my life, 2016. I was still dancing, and my family were just was worried about me. And I remember the boss came to me, and he pulled me aside, and he brought my brother, my mum, in the office. And I was working there for like a few months. And then he said to me, I was a nice old man, Palangi, Lea Sikama. He goes, Samson, you're a really hard worker. And I was like, oh, thanks. And he goes, your family's a really hard worker too. Your brother, your mum. I was like, yeah. And he goes, when I see you have something in your eyes, your mind is somewhere else. Physically, I'm there. I'm probably like a robot. I'm like the first AI robot, just with Samoan I'm a Samoan branded
With
robot.
a framework of AI, yep.
Little palaka there. You know, he's telling me these things, and then he says, I think you should go do your thing. You should leave this job because you shouldn't be here. And I remember it was as if that I was watching my family and I saw my mom, my brother wearing the same uniform, and I was like, I gotta go do this thing. I gotta go chase this shit. And no one understands it. People that have, when you're from the freaking bottom, only you can really understand what it's like and why you drive so hard. And I remember looking at my mom and my brother. Till this day, I remember those little moments. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna keep chasing. Keep chasing to the part where I know when I retire them, eventually, if God is willing, that we will make that come true. I will want it to come true. That's a great story. I don't need that much to make me happy. An Oscar, yeah, that'd be great. All of those little things, yeah, that'd be great. But I'm not so much up my own ass to, I am a humble Samoan boy from South Auckland. I am proud of where I'm from, the villages of Awhenga and Whangaloa Bay. I know who my grandparents are. Be like water. You put a water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put a water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. Now water can flow or it could crash. Be water, my friend.
Oh man.
Oh, you're the man, bro.
You're the man hard out. You're the man hard out who's so man. What a oh man, I tell you. It's like when I ask any questions, I just want to listen to the stories. And that is a sign of a good storyteller. You leave people wanting more. Like, oh man, tell some more. And so also obviously I know because of time. But also no, this is not the end, because I can guarantee you we're going to get you back on again, man. Because there's so many gems that need to be unwrapped, even more so. But also tonight's just been, it's just been great just listening to, like Karen was saying, yeah, as young as you are, there's an old soul there. And I can tell it's a lived experience. You've experienced things at a young age that some people would never live or imagine. But because of that struggle, and of course you're from the home of the brave, also the struggle,
real, the real,
yeah,
home of the brave.
Home of the brave. And so, bro, it shows. It shows, but it's success. It brings forth success and it brings forth hunger. And I'm hoping, and I know I don't even have to pray about it, but you know, it's coming, man. It really is coming. And that time when you're able to come back and say, hey man, I went to the mom's work and say, hey, get out of there, mom, retire. And say, oh man, beautiful story. And brother, also all the best for this year and all the projects, future projects you have. And so what an absolute blessing tonight.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, I don't even know where to start with you. You're
too much.
You're too Mickey. You're too much. You really are. You bring a you say water in the cup and all that, but your water, just the cups are overflowing with stuff. And the things that you share, things that people don't learn until they're 50, 60, all of that stuff, they find resolve in that part of their life when their youth is, not that it's too late. You can always do whatever age, but you've allowed yourself to find healing in that, resolve in that, and you've used it as your superpower. So everything you create, man, I hope it goes far. You say, this is where success is for you, but you also said anything else is just water for ducks back, which means you're happy to just keep going, keep pushing those limits, because when you do, you're pushing it for everyone behind you. All these young guys coming up, young women coming up. But whether they're in film or not, you have this formula now. You have this formula that you're continually testing to show people you don't have to wait. You don't have to sit there and wait. You don't have to be, humble and hide your talent. You can actually still be humble and live your talent out here and find your weapon to express it. So all your nuances, all your metaphors, your analogies. Go on, man.
Sorry about the analogy.
No, it's good. 'Cause can you imagine how many snippets we got out of this, bro?
Experiment, do your thing.
And the thing is, it's going to help people. And I hear that from you too. Your whole mission is to, I don't know if it's mission or purpose or just one of your drivers is to see people find their best selves.
Always.
You know, and I hear that. I absolutely hear that. He's a guy that acted on one of your movies, and you allowed him to believe that he could do a backflip.
Yeah.
Damn. Like just that story in itself tells me how much power you have. How much power you have to make an individual, a man, believe that he can do that. Like that's some crazy stuff. So continue to bust, those, not bust walls, but continue to climb higher. You know, you get to this mountain, find another one, just keep climbing mountains because we want to see your journeys. We want to see the quality of your work through your experiences because that comes through.
Yeah.
And so I hope, you deserve everything you're going to experience in the future. You really do.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you really do.
I appreciate it. And I want to say something that I don't want to go. I know we're going over time, but I hope you keep this part in. But the amount of valued content that you guys have been able to put out, and I say this because I'm a fan, but I'm a sucker for everyone's stories. As a purist, as a fan, when I listen, when I see them out and about, some of them I don't know them, but I'm like, man, I'm rooting for you, because now I know your origin story. Yeah, we're all just like Spider-Man in our own universe. You know, we're like a Neo within our own storyline. And the moment you start to believe, and when I hear them talk, you're like almost some like Morpheus-like interviewer. You would get the best out of them, and then they go into it, and then we get these valued type of content snippets, and it lives on forever. So I thank you guys for like, honestly, I love it. There were times when I wasn't the best, but when I listened to some of those stories, it's just what I needed. And that's the audience that tunes in every day or every time this drops, because there's something in there that can plant a seed to grow up like a tree, an oak tree.
Forest.
Thank you, man.
Forest.
Man, all levels, man. Thank you so much for your time, Moose. But we do have a gift. We do have a gift for you. Every guest that comes on, we always give them a caricature, cartoon of how we envision them to be. Also, and this is on behalf of the Mandate team. This is for you, Moose.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you, so man. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Look, I'm gonna keep this next to my bed.
We're rooting for you. We're so proud of you. So thank you so much. Obviously, we always ask, hey, who do you have in mind? Who do you think would be appropriate to come on? I know you mentioned Kevin. Yeah, Kevin.
Bosky. His name's Bosky.
Bosky, or is there anyone else?
Yeah.
You think of?
No, actually, I came prepared. See, this is how
much. Wait. My man.
See, I have to fight Goldust in the Samson Rambo character. Right. Glasses. Yeah.
And the hat.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Shot.
I was gonna wear my glasses, but I'm like, nah. Let's start off slow.
Cool.
When I come back, then we can. Bro. So this is gonna be like Mandate's own snippet. I don't know. Samson's wish list. Thank you very much. Well, you've already had Vila, Beulah. Have you said Baba?
Not yet.
But you're already talking to her?
Yeah, it's in the pipelines here.
She's great. Get her. Okay, my wish list would be Stallone and Dinah.
Sister?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
The Ampisa. That's a whole nother umbrella, like, universe of... You need to talk to them. Yeah. They're superstars to me. Jerry Tawamiti. Nanai Jerry told me. I think that's my Thai name. Get him. He's a director from Christchurch. I call him the Samoan Crusader because he is, if you think, well, wisdom and all that, these guys are the ones I learn off.
Wow.
Senseis. Okay, yeah. I see Jerry. Taro Patch. Vera and Emily Mafaleo. Talk to them.
Me.
Yeah.
No,
And then the last two would be, I already said Vosky, and if you have a chance, Ian Leo Pepe and Alex Liu.
Yeah.
These we're the same cohort of PI filmmakers on the come up. It would be interesting if you talk to them now and see what happens in 10 years when they're holding Oscars or together. You can hold on to that.
Take the piece of paper.
Also, man, we will hit them up, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, also thank you once again. Also, but as anything, we always go against the last words. Any words of encouragement for could be some budding directors, film artists, whatever, or creatives, or just anyone in general.
Whatever. What advice? Whatever the mind of man can conceive, it can achieve. That's it. Not just a man, but a woman. Just be water. Be water, my friend. That's it. That's it.
I love that.
Man,
That excites me.
Oh man, please don't forget to subscribe and we look forward to well thought out comments. And as usual, Caroline,
Refine
unlock
and take charge.
Mandate.